AIA Vitality. Your health is every choice you make. We are part of a global wellness program with over 1.65 million members in AIA across Asia. And in Singapore, we have more than 100,000 members on AIA Vitality. Members live healthier by knowing their health through online health assessments and screenings. They improve their health by logging exercises and enjoying the rewards to keep them going. And indeed, members are making improvements in their health. Even the vitality age gap has narrowed to less than a year. Best of all, you earn points for every activity. The higher your status, the greater the rewards, including up to 15% off insurance premium on selected AIA plans. To keep you going, there is the weekly fitness challenge with personalized targets to help pace and improve your fitness. When you complete the challenge, you get a spin on the Vitality wheel to earn Vitality coins, which you can use at the marketplace. That's not all. You also earn AIA Vitality points for completing these activities. And very soon, you'll be on your way to Platinum status. And we sweeten the deal further with many exciting partner benefits that you can enjoy. With AIA Vitality, nothing gets better than a healthier you. So get onto AIA Vitality today because your health is every choice you make.
Last season's top two face off on a big Saturday night of AIA Singapore Premier League action. The defending champions remain this season's only unbeaten side, and the White Swans have the league's best defence.
Really good save from Koga.
Not only that, they've uncovered another goal machine in Kiyoshiro Suboi. And tonight they visit OTH to take on the Stags, who come into this on a high after last Sunday's rout that featured some stunning strikes. It's Tampines Rovers versus Albirex Niigata, and it is live. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to an unfortunately empty Tampines hub for match day 9, match day 10 for Tampines Rovers in the AIA Singapore Premier League. It's the Stags and the Swans, last season's top two, currently third and first, about to do battle live on Singtel Star Hub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page and One Play Sports. It's the first of 4 games simultaneously to this. Tanjung Pagar United against Young Lions, the bottom two doing battle. Can the Jaguars repeat that stunning 4-0 win they got against the Young Lions at Jalan Besar a couple of weeks ago, and a fascinating doubleheader tomorrow as well? Cheetahs, Tigers, Hougang Balestier Sunday, and the Lion City Sailors take on Geylang International. And we've got a Geylang theme to the show tonight. More on that in a minute. Well, there it is, third against first tonight. They can go top tonight, Tampines Rovers, if they beat Albirex Niigata by 6-0. Unlikely. Hougang will be hoping the White Swans can beat Tampines again like they did last month at Jurong East, and then Hougang can get back into the top 3 tomorrow. Delighted to be joined, a very special guest this match day, by the head coach of Geylang International, Noor Ali. Geylang, of course, call OTH home as well. And Noor Ali, should it be a fascinating game tonight? Really looking forward to it.
I think, first of all, thank you for having me on tonight. I think definitely it's going to be a very good game. You know, you have two good technical sides, possession game. These two teams have been entertaining the league the last 2-3 seasons, you know, and definitely we're going to see a good game tonight.
We'll talk, by the way, about Noor Ali's Geylang and their game against the Lion City Sailors tomorrow night at full time, so I don't think we're ignoring that big game on the horizon. But we'll concentrate here. You've come very close to getting a result this season against both these sides. You were arguably unlucky to lose 1-0 at Jurong East against Albirex about 5 weeks ago. And then that East Coast derby on a Friday night was an absolute thriller. You went down 3-2. Which of the two teams, in your opinion, have been the hardest to play against this season?
I think both teams is going to be very difficult to play with, you know, because like I said earlier on, you know, these are the two of the best teams that plays good football in the league, you know. But saying that, I think Tampines has a bit more experience, and with Albirex, you know, they are full of young and energetic players, you know. I've lost the first round 2 games with them, but I'll come back to them again in the second round, you know.
Okay, you'll have your revenge. There's plenty of time left to go. Now, obviously, we'll look at the game that these two teams played earlier in the season a little later on in the show, but let's start with their most recent outing, Tampines Rovers, because after some disappointing results, notably that 2-2 draw against Tanjung Pagar, they went to Jalan in this make-up game with their AFC Champions League fixtures in mind, and really did a number on the young Lions. That goal scored by Mehmedovic was really scrappy, but the next 3 were simply stunning, Norali.
I think Tampines is very good at set pieces. You know, they have players like Bahaki, Daniel Bernard, even Madhu. You know, and this is something that Wansha has been doing for Tampines the last 3 years, coming from Dick and getting the goals from for Tampines. You know, so that's fantastic. You know.
How about this? How's this not goal of the month? Gabriel Crack's goal beat it.
I mean, this is the goal of the season, anyway. You know, with that technique, you know, the vision that he saw as the goalkeeper off the line, you know, and that's fantastic. You
and
know.
what about that assist from Nakamura as well, and the finish from Taufik?
I mean, the finishing is superb, you know, and Taufik has been doing well for Tampines coming off the bench, you know, so it's nice to see that, you know, he's doing quite well this season.
Yeah, what I've noticed this season, I think more than seasons past, is the impact that the substitutes have had. With the under-23 rule, it's always a factor, substitutions in Singapore football. You've seen Taufik there, who's been Tampines' very own super sub for many a season now. On the bench as well for Tampines tonight. Not surprising, really, because it's a tactic a lot of coaches have employed, leaving a big name to counter the Kondo substitution that always comes for Albirex Niigata, is Armin Bosniak, the Montenegrin, who has created more chances in the league than any other player, 21 in total. And to put that into perspective, that's 8 more than Diego Lopez, the star of the Lion City Sailors. Great work, by the way, by Tenkiat and the FAS social media channels for those stats. But tell us what you think of Armin Bosniak, because he bosses it down the left.
He has done well for Tampines. You know, I think he was a good replacement for Jordan when he left. You know, of course, 2 different kind of player you have. But I think his crosses and assists, and when you have players like Boric in the box, you know, and he has played a very important part in Tampines during the season, man.
This is him in action in that game against Albirex Niigata earlier in the season, where he created the early goal that Boris Kapitovic converted. They couldn't hold on to that lead then. It'll be interesting to see how they play if they score first. That came, that previous game, at the end of a busy spell for both clubs, and I think they were both running on empty towards the end, and Albirex just had the superior energy levels. Albirex have had a couple of weeks off with that blank week last week. Yep. Tampines had to play. Is fitness going to play a part tonight?
I think definitely, man, and especially with Albirex, they are quite fresh moving towards this game, but I think Gavin has done well in managing the players, especially with the experienced players that he have, you know, and he has been mixing around the players a bit here and there, and picking on the right under 23 to play the game, you know. So I think experience-wise, I think Gavin knows how to dictate the game and take the game to Albirex tonight.
And of course, there's no Shah Shahiran for the Stags tonight. He's since left for national service. He featured, and he was a very key part of that midfield alongside Nakamura the last time the 2 teams met at Jurong East. Well, we've got to talk about Albirex Niigata, still unbeaten. Probably the lowest paid squad in the division, but they've won 4 of the last 5 titles, and their coach Keiji Shigetomi was honoured with the Coach of the Month award for April. And again, I don't want to hear any of this negativity about the prize money for these awards. Norali, listen, Norali, you want to win this. You want to be the Coach of the Month for May. It's about the prestige, isn't it? Not the cheque. You want to have the prestige.
I mean, I got to start winning first to get this. You know? So, I mean, it's good to see that Coach KG has done so well in Albirex, you know, but it's something to be very interesting to see a local coach taking over an Albirex team.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That would be nice to see a local coach coaching the Albirex team, you know, even still a local players.
Well, of course, you've had experience coaching in Japan. You had that exchange program with Matsumoto Yamaga, where you were very successful. You won a trophy in Japan. And as we look at the latest Suboy hat-trick, he scored back-to-back hat-tricks as they beat Balestier Khalsa 4-1 last time out. What is it about the culture in Japanese football? Because it has to come down to the culture why they're so successful here.
I think basically discipline plays a very important part in this team, you know, but it's also the culture that they have brought from Japan, and it's nice to see that nothing has changes, even they are back in the XPL and playing in the league, you know, so they has brought a lot of their culture and Singapore into Singapore. That's nice to see.
And is it attitude? Have they just got the right mentality? I mean, you know, I suppose if you knew the answer to this, you'd be instilling it and making the Geylang boys eat sushi non-stop. But is it intrinsic? Is it something that they're just born with? Do they have a greater hunger than the Singaporean players?
I mean, they was brought up that way, you know. I mean, they are educated that way. They are being cultured that way, you know. It's not only in football; it's in their life. you know. So it's totally different than how we manage our local players here, you know. But saying that, you know, if you're gonna have these kind of players, we have to start it very young, you know, so that we can achieve something that what Japan has done.
Well, let's hopefully see that with Unleash the Raw and this new project that's underway. More to come on that, I'm sure, in the weeks and months to follow. Congratulations to Coach Shigatomi. He's the coach of the month for April. The young player of April, well, it couldn't be anyone else, could it? Suboi, back-to-back hat-tricks, including a perfect hat-trick against Tanjung Pagar. Incidentally, congratulations to Gabriel Quack for what was a very competitive goal of the month. He got the better of Lopez and Nakamura for that award, and Stipe Plazovac, a real star, the Croatian, who was player of the month. This was the perfect hat-trick from Suboi. You scored plenty of goals at international and domestic level. As a striker, is that the ultimate? The left foot, the right foot, and the header?
Of course, man. That's make a perfect striker. You know, you shoot anywhere you want. You know, and you can hit with any part of your body. You know, so that's nice to see that Albirex is bringing always the good number 9 in. You know, this is a very good replacement for Doi last season.
I mean, that's something else I think it's worth lingering on, because they're not just picking these kids blindly, Albirex Niigata. They've got a good scouting system, they've got a good network system, which, by the way, is only going to get better because the Albirex Niigata Japanese side are currently top of J2, set for their first season in the top flight of Japan since 2018 next year. Hoshino, Suboi, Tomiyuki Doi. I mean, again, that's not luck, that's judgment, isn't it?
Yeah. Even you have Yuki Ichikawa in my team right now, who has been 10 years in playing in the SPL. You know, so they have produced good players, and it's nice to see that these players are still contributing in the SPL.
Yeah, looking forward to this. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Is it going to be Big Bad Boris up against Suboi, or is it going to be a bit more complicated than that? I think it may well be the latter. Stay with us. There's more to come in the build-up to tonight's big match from Geylang head coach Norali and myself as we count down to kick-off live on Saturday night. Welcome back live to our Tampines hub. OTH home, not just the Tampines Rovers, but Geylang International. Their head coach Norali's very kindly helping us out tonight, building up to tonight's big matchup. Between the top two from last season, obviously the Sailors have got something to say about breaking up that duopoly from 12 months ago. And on their head-to-head, I mean, we talk about the various battles against specific coaches, but Gavin Lee and KG Shigatomi have had an interesting back and forth. Obviously, it went against Gavin at Jurong East, but last season, in two very important games, they were must-win games for Tampines, those games in October and November, and Gavin won them both, and won them both comfortably.
I mean, especially the 4-1 result, you know, that was a very important game for Gavin, you know, because he needs to win the game and fight for the title, you know. So I think with Tampines right now, you know, I think Gavin knows how to handle this Albirex team, you know, and you look at this understanding between Amin and Boris again. You know, you will see this especially coming when Amin comes into the second half to play a part in the game.
What worried me here, and we've touched upon it already, they seem to completely run out of petrol. Now, Dan Bennett, who, again, is a modern marvel with Baihaki, he wasn't supposed to start tonight, Dan Bennett, but does because Baihaki, I'm told, of the second injection of his vaccine, and as it's happened to many people, it can knock you out, and he's not 100%. So Dan Bennett comes in, and that's always the concern when you've got, I mean, they don't tend to play them both together, but when you've got Baihaki and Bennett at the back, I know they're vastly experienced, I mean, absolute legends of the Singapore footballing scene, but there's always a danger they can be exposed for pace late on in a match, isn't it? Particularly with the likes of Kondo to come on.
I mean, definitely, man, because, I mean, all the team knows that when you have Baihaki and Daniel Bennett with their experience, you know, they can take the game and keep the tempo of the game. But saying that, again, you're playing against Albirex, you know, when you have players like Seaboy, you have players like Chiku, you know, and good speed attacking players, very skillful on 1v1. This is going to cause a lot of problem in the attacking third, you know. But I think we can see like how the 2 goals happened the last time when they were at Jurong East, you know. They gave too much space to Albirex outside the penalty box, and that cost them the game. You know?
And to give you an idea of just how much quality is on display, we've talked about a dozen players, and we haven't even mentioned Hashioka, who is the driving force. I mean, again, Nagasawa obviously injured for them. Now, listen, we're going to get the coach's words in a minute, but I'll have an argument with anyone that wants to suggest this hasn't been the best AIA Singapore Premier League season in many a year. We've had stunning goals, we've had fantastic games. So frustrating that we can't have fans in again with the recent upsurge in COVID. That's why Nurali and myself are wearing the mask. So wherever you're going, make sure you maintain safe social distancing. Let's all work together to get through this tough spell, and we'll get fans back in these stadiums soon. It's been a wonderful season, and it's just got better. How about this for breaking news? Don't forget, another game going on simultaneously to this. You can watch it also live on Singtel Star Hub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page, and One Play Sports. Kairin Nadim, his record of being the youngest ever player in the AIA SPL has just been broken because the teams are out for the game at Jurong East, Tanjung Pagar and the Young Lions. 15 years of age, 232 days. I think I was still picking my spots when I was that age. Raul Suhaimi is now the youngest ever debutant in the SPL tonight. He's beaten Kairin Nadim's record by, what, 66 days. That's absolutely stunning. He was, I mean, that's just remarkable, isn't it? It has been a great season, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? Bringing young Singaporean stars of tomorrow through, because Kairin Nadim certainly fits that bill.
I mean, at this point in time, with the league that we have a lot of young players moving into the SPL team, which doesn't give the opportunity for these boys the last few years back, you know, while doing my playing days, you know. So we have to break the team different way, you know. But it's nice to see 15-year-olds starting to play in the SPL.
Congratulations to Raul Suhaimi. As friends and family, I'm sure, are watching. They won't be watching us so much longer. They'll be doing what you can do as well. Take your pick of the 2 great games going on live in the AIA SPL tonight. Nurali and myself are focusing on this top of the table clash. So downstairs is Farah Nair, our little superstars, caught up with both coaches. We'll speak to the coach of the month for April, Keiji Shigetomi, in a moment. But let's first hear from Farah alongside Stags boss Gavin Lee.
Thank you, Patrick. Another huge one tonight. Gavin, you welcome the leaders Albirex here tonight. How will you be approaching this one?
Yeah, I think we approach it like every other game that we've played this season and the last 2 years together. We're going out there with an intention to dominate possession, to create chances to score and to defend well.
Now, in the first round of fixtures, a 2-1 loss against them, but your opponents today have not won against you at home in the last 3 meetings, and you come into this one on the back of your 4-0 win against the Young Lions. How confident are you going into this one?
Again, you know, we go into every game with a specific plan and as calm of a brain state as possible. And so we take every game in a very similar fashion, regardless is it Albirex or Sailors or Young Lions. So calm and confident, I would say.
Now let's talk starting 11. Last week you started without Boris, and this week you've left Armin on the bench. What's the thinking behind that and your selection for today?
Yeah, no, we again, goes back to our starting point, which is our team tactics and our strategy, if you like, and we decide which players are the best coming off the bench to contribute from the start. And this week it's Armin coming off the bench.
KG, coach of the month for April, and you're still the only unbeaten side so far. What are your thoughts going into this one against Tampines?
I think this hour is more on the result and performance of the team than my own performance. But it's important for us to focus on this match.
And what do you think will be the biggest challenge here tonight?
The match at our Tampines Hub will be a very tough match. I think the first score is important. So we want to play aggressively and score goals.
KG, thank you and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Great work pitch side from Farah. Let's give you the starting lineups then, the numbers that matter tonight. 3 changes to the Stags team that demolished the Young Lions last time out. A late change is seen by Haki, suffering from the after effects of his second vaccine. He's replaced by Dan Bennett. Amaral Haikal and Boris come in, as Farah spoke with to Gavin. Now, Albirex Niigata unbeaten, and they have used the fewest number of players in the division as well. Just the one change for them, and it's a man that Norali knows very well. Once of Geylang, a 21-year-old Fikri Junaidi comes in with Virus missing. So just the one change from that Albirex Niigata lineup that demolished Balestier Khalsa in their last game, which of course was 2 weeks ago. But the question I want to know, there's Keiji Shigetomi giving his interview in English. When you were managing Matsumoto Yamaga, did you give any interviews in Japanese?
I was trying to, but I could not make it.
Great to see KG. I mean, you know, again, just like the strikers, the conveyor belt of the coaches that Albirex have brought over. I mean, Yoshinaga, I know, is coming back now to be technical director. There have been some great coaches there as well.
Oh, they have been. You know, I think the good thing about these coaches, they share the same culture and philosophy of football they want to play, and they bring it to Singapore and they show what they can do in Singapore. So that's nice to see, to show showcase the kind of football with the age of young as 19, 20, 21. So that's good to see.
And we obviously saw you go over there for a coaching stint, coaching the youth team at Matsumoto. We saw Anders go over there as well, and I think it certainly improved him as a player. Is that something that Singapore might look at doing more of? Obviously, we've got the wonderful Irfan winning titles in Thailand, but some of the younger players, can we get them out in these situations to experience different cultures?
I think I've been there for 1 year. You know, if I look at the J2 standards, I think players like Safwan, even now Ifan and Iksan, both Fandi sons, they are able to make it to the J2. You know, they are good enough to be there. You know, so I think it's about just giving them an opportunity to get there. You know.
Okay. Most important job tonight. You've got to give us your prediction. What's going to be the score here? I remember my favourite SPL game of all time, 2018, 4-3 Albirex. What's going to be the score here?
I think both teams are going out there. You will see a lot of goals tonight, but I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw, says Geylang international coach Noor Ali. Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's take you pitch side. It's not a question of no fans, no fun. You got the best seat in the house. We're only minutes away from kickoff for Tampines Rovers against Albirex Niigata. It's coming up live on Singtel Star Hub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page, and One Play Sports. Stay with us. The kickoff's next. welcome back live to our Tampines Hub. Kickoff now just moments away. Norali alongside myself, Patrick King, on for match day 9. It's the 10th game of the season for Tampines Rovers. They're playing catch-up in their quest to hopefully represent Singapore in the AFC Champions League ESO game, should they happen. The man sat alongside me is hoping to see his getting international boys in AFC action as well. The AFC Cup, which I know you were thrilled to qualify for. You secured that on the last day of last season. I know Gavin is obviously having to manage the squad in terms of concentrating on that and focusing on the league. Are your boys looking forward to that AFC Cup tilt?
Oh, definitely, man. We are looking forward to the AFC Cup. You know, I think after so many years, the last time we were playing in the AFC was 2010. I think it's nice to be back in the AFC, and we got a tough group to be in, especially with Terengganu among all the teams that we're going to play. So that's going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, everyone in Singapore, get behind the Stags, get behind the Sailors and Geylang in AFC competitions, if and when they hopefully happen. Terengganu and Kaya, plus a team to come through via the playoffs, face Geylang International in Group I. Don't forget the Lion City Sailors Geylang is a big match tomorrow, but we concentrate now on Stags and Swans, a rivalry between two of the giants of the domestic scene in recent years. But how can you stop the juggernaut that is Albirex Niigata? And when you look at their incredible stats, yes, they're unbeaten, yes, Suboy scoring goals for fun, but for me, Norali, the one stat that stands out is to can only concede 5 goals in 8 games of football. That's, I mean, it doesn't matter how many goals you're scoring, if that's your stat in defence, you're always going to be there or thereabouts, because you're not even relying on the strikers when your defence is that good.
Definitely, man. If you have the least numbers of goals conceded, you know, you currently will be definitely like Albirex will be at top of the table right now, you know. So, I mean, they have a fantastic goalkeeper with them, you know, which is an overall goalkeeper. You know, he's a good shot stopper. He's good at building up from the back, and then he controls the tempo of the game also for the team, you know. So, I think that's the reason why they only concede 5 goals in the season.
Match officials leading the 2 sets of squads out. Referee Farhad Mohammed, assisted tonight by Manoj Kalwani, Limsi Seng, and our 4th official, Y Sathya Kumar. The one thing I'll say, and I don't want to tempt fate for poor old Koga, and I'm sure he's not listening to what I've got to say, every keeper, no matter how good you are, has a mistake in them all through this season. And his only problem so far is he's been too perfect. It can't continue. He's got to cough up one mistake and one gimme at some point.
I don't think he wants to get it done tonight, you know. I think this is a very important game for Albirex, you know. I think they want to stay at the top of the table tonight, you know, and definitely they want the 3 points. So he has to be at his best form, you know, tonight. Yeah,
3 points for Albirex tonight would see them go 6 ahead of the Lion City Sailors, who have that game in hand against Geylang tomorrow. As for the Stags, if they were to be defeated here, it would really start to look like they're fading away from a title charge. My usual colleague in the commentary box, Norali, Roshan Rai, I keep having this argument with him because people, I think, you know, look at the EPL and you think it's a 38-game season. You've got to remember we're over a third of the way through this season now, aren't we? So you can't afford to fall off the pace at this crucial time, particularly with the likes of Tampines having AFC competition around the corner.
Definitely, man, because, you know, with the schedule and fixtures with the leagues, you know, you have to play 3 games a week sometimes, and then you have a break about 1 month before you come back and play again, you know. And it's very important, especially in the month of May, if you're going to do well, or even Tampines or even Lion City Sailors, if they want to do well and keep the pace with Albirex, they have to start picking up points.
There's Kyoga Nakamura on the left of shot, who scored that stunning goal against the Young Lions. Here comes Albirex Niigata. We didn't speak about him much in the pre-show, but he'll lead them out, the skipper, Kazuki Hashioka. He's a remarkable footballer already. Do you know what? I've been watching him all season. I'm not entirely sure what position he plays, because 1 minute he's on the right wing, next minute he's centre-back, then he pops up on the left of midfield. I mean, he is a, you know, an absolute maestro. I
mean, at the rate he's playing right now, I think he's one of the fittest players in the league, you know, because these guys just can go up and down the pitch, you know, and does that for 90 minutes, you know. And this is the advantage of Albirex, you know. If you're going to see the game, you're going to see a lot of the diagonal balls from the left moving towards him, you know, because he creates the extra number in attack, especially in the attacking third when Albirex go.
Yeah, arguably, both these sides have been the 2 hottest sides down the flanks this season. We'll see Ahmed in the second half. He's already highlighted, Norali, how Madu likes to get forward under that, what they call gav ball, but Hashioka, Tezuka work so well. And let's give credit as well to the Singaporean Ong Yuen, because he's looked very at home in this Albirex lineup. He's not just somebody making up the numbers.
I mean, I'm very surprised to see him, even when he played against us in Jurong East. You know, this boy actually has been playing well, you know, and he has positioned himself well into the Albirex team, you know, and for me, it's good to see these young players improving in the Albirex team, you know, and hopefully, you know, you can see him 90 minutes tonight.
Very much so, as our officials, led by our referee, Farhad Mohammed, the pre-match ceremonies with Yasser Henapi and his opposite number, skipper Hashioka, standing there for the pre-match photograph. Obviously no atmosphere here if you're just tuning in. So sad that we've had to hold these games now behind closed doors with the latest spike in COVID cases, but keep the masks on, keep safe distancing, and stay safe and stay well. Tampines Rovers make 3 changes to the team that whitewashed the Young Lions last time out. Boris is back, having come on very late in the day yesterday. I think Gavin Lee, the message he's giving to Boris is, come on, let's get back to big bad Morris mode. Can he do it tonight? He scored, of course, the last time these two teams met. Amaral Haikal comes in and they're under 23 quota, and Dan Bennett in as well. As for Albirex Niigata, just the one change. And tell us about Fikri Junaidi as we look at Gavin Lee, not only because he started with you at Geylang and he makes his debut for Albirex tonight.
I mean, he was with me in 2019. This boy is very strong, you know, and I've not seen him much in Albirex this season, you know, but I think he must have been done well during the training session that the coach wants to give an opportunity, because I think Nicky Melvin Singh has done well actually for Albirex in the last few games, you know. So it's interesting to see how Fikri can get into the team tonight.
Yeah, I mean, again, you automatically assume because he's young, as we look at Keiji Shigetomi, the AIA Singapore Premier League Coach of the Month for April, he's young, that he's got pace. Are we expecting he's got the kind of pace that could give Dan Bennett some problems?
Oh, definitely, man. I think this is the strength of Albirex, you know. They have full of energy and speed up there in the attacking third, and the fluid and speed of play is also dangerous from them, you know. And this is going to be very interesting, you know. And it's going to be an interesting battle on the left with Wansha and Amirul facing Hashioka, you know, so this is going to be an interesting game to watch tonight.
Yeah, some fascinating head-to-head matchups all over the pitch where you look. Who's going to be the shining light tonight? Will it be the goal-scoring machine that is Suboi, or will we see a return of big bad Boris? Can Armin make an impact off the bench? Can Kyogo Nakamura score another absolute world-class goal? And are we going to see some more fireworks from the likes of Taniguchi? And let's not forget, they've got that set-piece threat from Yamashita, who scored twice from corners against the Lion City Sailors. It'll be Albirex in their change strip of white and blue, playing right to left. The Stags in their now new home kit of all black, playing left to right. Our referee, Farhan Mohammed, gets us underway. And straight away, Albirex going to penetrate down the middle with Amadou getting a firm head to that. And they'll come up with a throw. And please, Norali, if you spot any little tactical adjustments, certainly the way Tampines have lined up in contrast to last week's
it's very interesting
Bulls
to see that, you know, it looks like Tampines is starting with a 5 at the back with Amirul out there, you know.
I mean, that's obviously something that may be worthwhile doing when you just think how dangerous they can be and how they're susceptible to pinning teams back. But sometimes that's the kind of tactic that could leave Boris isolated up top.
I think the last time when they played at OTH, I think it's the same formation. Galvin used the 5-3-2. I think they pull off a 2-0 scoreline over Albirex, you know. So I think he's staying with the same tactics tonight.
Of course, Shirel now with the Young Lions, Jordan Webb from the penalty spot, the goal scorers that day last season when they won by 2-0. And of course, they were even more impressive in that reverse fixture when Gavin tinkered forward the formation at half-time and they went from 1-0 down to winning by 4-1. But I suppose if you want to treat them like a racehorse, they're only as good as their last run, and their last run against Albirex, for me, the scoreline flattered Tampines a little bit. They took the lead early, but it just looked like they had all the answers, and that's going to be, or very nearly, a corner given away by Ryan Sanazor. It was good work by Shazwan. We've talked a lot about Koga. What do you make of the Stags keeper, Shazwan Buhari? He's an excellent shot stopper, isn't he?
Definitely, man. I think not only that, man. I think he's one of the best goalkeeper, one of the better goalkeepers in the league that can play from the back, you know. And he gives the extra advantage to Gavin, especially during the building up play, you know.
Shazwan gets it to Ryan Sanazal. They're underway at Geelong East Tangible United Young Lions. Here's a skip. You can't give Suboi opportunities like this. Suboi laid it off to Tezuka, whose shot was blocked, but that was a real worry early on for Tampines, Norali.
I think Tampines is sitting a bit too deep with the 5-man defense, you know, and I think they are finding it a bit difficult to come out from that situation, you know, at this point of time.
Very important header from Madhu Mahana, and they really are all at sea at the moment. Erwan Shah's now giving it away. Yasser Hanapi back to Madhu. They're trying to desperately get it at their own final third at the moment. Dan Bennett with a heavy touch, possibly lucky to get away with that. Yasser, Madhu Mahana. Finally, they managed to get the ball to big bad Boris. Nizmamedovic in a bit of space. He's seen the run of Iman Hakim down the right-hand side.
And this is something that Tampines is good at, you know, coming out from tight situation and getting the ball into the attacking third, you know.
Yeah, they do like going from coast to coast very quickly. It's another tactic that the Sailors and indeed Albirex Niigata are very good at their transition play. I think they're the best 3 teams in the league in terms of their transition as they get the ball back to Shazwan. Who's been, I mean, obviously Suboy's in that conversation, as is your Brazilian man, Maresh. Who's been the most impressive for you, new player to the league this season so far?
Oh, I mean, Moraes is still he's still new to say that he has done well in the league, but I think he has scored 6 goals so far, and that's very interesting, you know. But I've not really impressed with any of the foreign players.
Diego Lopez?
I mean, he's a good player, you know, but saying that, I've not seen the best of him yet, you know, because the level of football is totally different when he's playing down here, you know, and he has so much time on the ball. It's totally different. You don't see the quality of the player, you know. So, I mean, he's playing with LCS, you know. It'll be interesting if he plays with Balestiers or any other team to see how he will cope with the team, you know.
Certainly, Maresh. I know you won't want to sing his praises too much in case he's watching and gets ahead of himself, but in terms of the individual impact one player's had on a team, I mean, I cast my mind back to when you had to bring him on unexpectedly on the opening day of the season, when Brian Maguire came off and he scored 2 goals here. And it's such a shame the fans are now, unfortunately, being locked out once more, because there was a love affair building in those goals he scored in that win against the Young Lions as well. He's certainly a fantastic player in waiting. Here's Yasser Hanapi to Erwan Shah, who's had some defending to do largely for the most part, as Tampines, for the first time in the opening 4 minutes, managed to string half a dozen passes together. Iman Hakim swings it to where usually Armin Bosniak would be. Not today, though. He starts on the bench. Here's Mehmedovic, who's going to be anchoring that midfield alongside Nakamura over the top. And again, that's going to be the difference. It's no reflection on Amarul Haikal down that right-hand side, but he's not going to be as dangerous as Armin down there, is he?
Oh, definitely, man, because, you know, with Armin on the left, you know, cutting inside and looking for bodies in the box, there's something that, you know, will give Gavin a bit more options in the second half, you know. So I think Gavin has a game plan in the first half, looking at the way they have started the team with a 5-3-2 formation, you know. So I think definitely he has a strategy to move on with a 90-minute game, man.
So Albirex having to build from the back. Shuya Yamashita, 2 goals this season for he, both of them coming. I'm still convinced to this day that the first was an own goal and shouldn't have been credited to him, but he got it in the end. Certainly the second one was clear cut, and the Stags would have to be more alert at set pieces than the Sailors were.
I mean, this is, if you look at the game right now, I think this is the hardest part of containing Albirex, especially when they have their goalkeeper out there. You know, Tampines is trying to press them out, up higher, but I think it's going to be very hard, you know, with the goalkeeper out there.
One thing, it's a very good point, and obviously we've already looked at it in the pre-show, but with Takahiro Koga playing in that sweeper keeper role, Dylan Pereira got caught out off his line by Nakamura. I mean, I'm sure that they'll have watched the video and be aware of that, but likewise, Nakamura, Gavel would have told someone like Nakamura, when you've done that once and you've got sort of the fly of it, they'll be keeping an eye at where Koga is, because, I mean, when you, oh, there's an accidental handball, I think. Yeah. When you count the number of minutes of the game, I would imagine Koga's probably outside his penalty area for more minutes than he's inside it through the course of a game.
I mean, definitely, man. I mean, if you talk about Dylan Pereira, you know, during that game, I think you don't expect the boy, you know, to learn the trade in a matter of 1 week, you know. I think for Koga, I think he has been doing this all these years, you know. That makes things very easy for him. He knows when to step up to support the attack and when to drop back, you know, when the team doesn't have the ball, you know. So I think down to a bit more experience.
Let's wait and see if Nakamura decides to pull the trigger from range. What a competition it was for the goal of the month for April. Gabriel Crack won it with that stunning strike off the Naikudin cross. Diego Lopez would have thought he'd have been a chance with it. Nakamura's goal as well, as they're really swamping him here, and maybe a little bit unlucky to be pinged by the official there. If Tampines dodged a bullet there, Norali.
Oh man, I think I mean, I didn't see much of that, you know, but it's a foul.
Great to be sitting next to Norali as he watches his P's and Q's. Look at that, they've played themselves into trouble again. There's no whistle to save them this time, and it whistles past the post for the 3rd time in the opening 7 minutes. Tampines Rovers give away possession in their own final third, and it very nearly cost them dearly there. You just cannot afford to cough up that kind of possession, and Ryoya Taniguchi so close to his 4th of the season, Norali.
I think that was a good call by the referee to play on. I don't think there was anything on that, you know, and I mean, Albirex should get a foul, but it was a good play, you know, but and it was a well-taken shot, you know, it was a bit unlucky.
Yeah, just to correct myself, of course, that was Kiyoshiro Tsuboi rather than Taniguchi. Apologies, just obscured from my vantage point there, but Tsuboi already showing that he's got his eye in, and that's the 2nd time they've given away possession.
Oh no, Boris.
Boris Kapitovic, can he try and mop up anything? And there's the difference between the two teams in these early stages. The mistakes aren't coming at the back from Albirex, are they?
I mean, that's Albirex, man. You start to open up and start to play, you will create space for Boris to go into, you know, especially in the attacking set.
Dan Bennett already getting very frustrated, I think, with his fellow backline. They've started to give Albirex too many opportunities, and whatever chance you've got of beating Albirex, Norali, you've got no chance if you give them opportunities like they've done twice in the opening minutes.
I think if you give another chance to Savoy, the next one, I think he will take it. You know, you know, that's the dangerous part. You see, look at this diagonal ball. You know, this is the danger one that you know Albirex likes to do with Hoshioka coming inside and try to create the extra number on the right side.
Yeah, Hoshioka and Tezuka have been lethal down that right flank, as now Boris Kapitovic wins the free kick as he's sent tumbling.
So that's bad. What? How do you call him?
Big bad
Big
Boris.
bad
but
Boris.
I was speaking to Gavin about him in the week, and I wondered what the theory being about leaving him out, because it's very competitive, this Golden Boot race, and no disrespect to the young lions. When you're a striker like Stipe or Boris or Suboy for that matter, or Moresh, I'm sure now, you want to play in those games because you think it gives you a chance of getting on the score sheet. And I said, well, what was the story there? And he played with two false nines. I think he's just trying to reignite Boris. He thinks that maybe Boris has become too nice, so maybe leaving him out was to try and get a reaction, and we'll see if we get a reaction tonight. He's got a slightly more mean-looking haircut. I don't know whether I can read anything into that.
Maybe that's what gave him wrong for him, you know, to look a bit more mean on the field, you know.
Lamenovic, Yasser Hanapi. Now he's had a great season. Space in front of Yasser, trying to get it through to Amaral Haikul, and unable to get the corner. It's behind for a goal kick.
There's about Tampines, you know, the fleet play between Chiase, Mehmedovic and Kyoga. These three guys are the main men for Tampines, you know, especially during the building up and in midfield. Their movement is very good, and they get Boris into the game. So we will see a lot this happen, especially when Amin starts to come in.
This near side for the champions, it's Kunimoto. Rio Kunimoto, again, doesn't get very heralded because of the performances of the likes of Hashioka and Suboy, but he's been an absolute rock from the back as well. So difficult, bearing in mind how well Ong Yuen has played, and you've already mentioned Nicky Melvin Singh, so difficult to really identify weak links in this Albirex side. You've got to be in your very best game to get the better of them.
The good thing is you see the local players are also stepping up to the Albirex boys, and actually they are enjoying the game when they are playing with these Japanese boys, so that's good to see.
Yamashita, look how far advanced Yamashita is here. Now that is Taniguchi, trying to link up with Suboy. Chipped inside, great cross. Oh man, he's got himself in a muddle, and they just about get it clear and belted away by Irwan Shah. And yet again, Tampines look a little bit wonky in their own area, Norali.
Oh, I mean, this is what Albirex is going to do all the time. They will keep possession and wait for the right time again. And I've seen this again. You know, the right side of Albirex is very strong with this Ashoka coming and adding numbers into the attack, you know. So you're going to see a lot of the attacks coming from the right. I'm also impressed with this Taniguchi. I think he has been doing well with Soboy up there.
Here is Big Bad Boris Kapitovic. They've got to make these forays into the Albirex final third count. He's holding the ball up well. Kapitovic looking for support, try to thread it through to Irwan Shah, but the timing of the run just wasn't there, and Albirex couldn't bring it away. And of course now Irwan's committed forward, so they might be short of numbers down the left-hand side themselves, but that's a rare misplaced pass from Phil Creed-United, who makes his Albirex debut tonight, and Shaswan can pick it up and get it to Dan Bennett, who gets it to Ryan Sanazal. I can tell you the Young Lions have taken the lead against Tanjong Pagar United early on. A goal for the Young Lions. It's a penalty for Jaime Sharin, who, of course, scored from the penalty spot against you, I think, Norali, didn't he, when they got back in the game, in the Geylang game?
And he scored the equaliser 1-1.
Yeah, so the Young Lions looking for their first win of the season after Tanjong Pagar beat them 4-0 for their first win of the season. That's the latest at Jurong East. Here it's still goalless and not really caught fire this game yet. By this point in the game at Jurong East earlier in the season, the Stags had already scored, and I think just round about this time Albirex had already counted it out. So just feeding each other out early. Haven't seen much from Nakamura yet. They're keeping him quiet in midfield. I think it's a straight head-to-head battle between Kosuke Chiku and Nakamura. The two number 8s trying to cancel each other out.
I think what Tampines is trying to do, they're trying to draw out Albirex midfield and defense line so that they can play the ball up there, you know. And they have been very patient with their play.
The speed in which they can transition Tampines is going to be key, because when Hashioka commits himself, he commits himself fully up front. And if you can just get that distribution and get things going, you might be in business. At least they're enjoying some territorial gains over the last couple of minutes. Irwan over to take the throw to Mehmedovic. Irwan, that's an intelligent pass through to Boris Kapinovic, who's looking for options. Boris to the edge of the area. Nakamura deflected, and Koga might not have looked that pretty, but that was intelligent keeping from Koga, because he just made sure he got hands behind it in the rally.
The first thing I got to make sure that I don't get shocked while you were shouting during the commentary, man. I mean that was a good ball from one shot, you know. And I mean, you know, Boris, especially in the box, he will hold up the play, you know. If this connect, I think this would be another fantastic goal from Koga.
I'll have to warn you in advance, Narani. If you think if that scared the life out of you, wait to see what I do if Nakamura scores a goal tonight like he did last week. You won't be able to sleep for a week. Kunimoto. Tampines slowly getting into this game. Have they weathered the early storm where a couple of defensive mistakes allowed the defending champions chances that they very nearly gobbled up? The closest we come to a goal was that effort from Suboy that just whistled wide to the right post of Shazwan Bahari. But 15 minutes in, the only team with a shot on target is Tampines Rovers, courtesy of Nakamura's effort there. But they've got to be careful here. Getting in for the back is Ong Yuen. Decent cross, Ong Yuen, and there's a push in the area. The guilty party, Philpri Junaidi, just a little bit too keen.
There was another good, you know, link-up play, you know, on the right side again, getting the ball down the flanks and getting the crosses in, you know. I think he got to time his run into the box better, you know, if he able to connect to the ball.
Nowadays, in the modern game, you tend to get the defenders and the goalkeepers getting the benefit of the doubt and all those 50-50s when an aerial challenge looks like it's been a little bit too aggressive. The Shazwan. 3 men committed up from
That's a good ball from Shazwan just to break the defense line.
Yeah, Yasser Henapi's picked that up nicely. Here's Mehmedovic. We know with Mehmedovic and Nakamura, Tampines have got the creative nous to unlock this Albirex defence. It's only been breached 5 times this season. Remember, the only teams to prevent Albirex from winning this season, the Sailors, who came from 2-0 down at Jalan Besar in that very spirited display, very much in a similar mould to your display against them at Jurong East, when Marko Krajovic's Balestier Kausa probably should have won on the balance of the play.
And that was the only 0-0 score line this season?
That's the only 0-0 this season. Good knowledge, Norani. We'll have to have you back if you're that good on the stats. Yeah, the only goalless draw we've had, but you're tempting fate there, because we're not going to have one at Jurong East, where the Young Lions, who are giving a debut, that's the other big story coming out of the league so far today. If you're just joining us over at Jurong East, the youngest ever debutant in SPL history, Rahul Suhaimi, and currently he's making a debut to a team that are winning. Young Lions leading Tanjung Pagar by a 1-goal margin early on from the penalty spot. Meanwhile, Tampines are starting to come back into this, and they can't give Yasser Henapi this kind of space. Yassir to the right-hand side, where usually you'd be expecting, under Gavin Lee's tactics, support to be herring up, but there was no one there. They'll get the throw, though.
Yes, he has been doing well for Tampines this season, you know, and he has scored some very good goals this season too, you know, and definitely he has played a very important part for the team in the last 2-3 seasons. He's a former Geylang boy too.
Yeah, lots of Geylang form lines for you here. Again, we talked about him in the pre-show, but there was a wonderful article on the SPL social media channels about your very own Yuchi Ichikawa. In 10 years, he's due a testimonial, I think, isn't he, Ichikawa, coming up to 200 SPL appearances. It's going to be 199. Can you give us an exclusive? Is he playing tomorrow? I think it's appearance 199 tomorrow.
Can I reveal my tactics on the...
Yeah, you can. We'll save it to the end of the show. But yeah, we've got that exclusive.
I mean, there's only one centre-back to play tomorrow, so I have to play Yuki.
Ichikawa will be lining up another game. We'll bring you live from Jalan Besar. The Lion City Sailors, post-Vidmar, their first game in the post-Vidmar era against Nur Ali's Geylang International. That's live tomorrow, 8:30 kickoff again, before we revert the following weekend back to 5:30 PM match days. The players, obviously notwithstanding the fasting issues that lead to us playing at 8:30. Would the players rather play later on, do you think? Or, and as a team, do you prefer the 8:30 kickoffs, or do you like those sunset games at 5:30?
I think 8:30 kickoff during the Ramadan period, it's okay with us,
Not
you know.
normal period, you don't have no problem with the 5:30s?
5:30 is a bit hard for these boys, you know, especially during the Ramadan period, you know, because, you know, with the weather and everything, it's not going to be easy for the boys.
So we'll be getting back to our more traditional 5:30 kickoff soon as Nakamura slided in against Chiku. 1 challenge, 2 challenge, then having his say and having a little nibble was Ryan Sanazao. Dan Bennett clipped from behind in the end by Kosuke Chiku. Tampines will come up with this. Well, they are getting back into the game. It's more of an even contest as it was through the first 10 minutes in these last 8 or so minutes in already.
I mean, with Tampines and Albirex, you just a matter of 1 chance, you know. Because we know Tampines, with the experience they have, and in terms of possession, they're holding up the play. I mean, they are very, very patient to bring the ball up into the attacking third, you know. Looking at the last 20 minutes, Albirex is just waiting to go on transition, you know. If this opportunity comes, I think they will take their chances.
Nakamura, Iman Hakim. Now look how far. This is the first time we've seen Madu Mahana this far forward. Can he get the cross? And he's being very well marshaled at close quarters. Finds it back to Iman Hakim well. Nakamura, we know he can pull the trigger. Nakamura deflected and just wide. And it'll be the first corner. But they're clearly under instructions to let Nakamura shoot from range here, Norali. And he's being given space to do so.
I mean, this is the second time in the game that he has given that kind of space to Nakamura to take a shot out there, you know, and it's very interesting, you know, this against Young Lions, Madu went up, sent a cross to one shot to score, and now he's up there again, and Nelly Kyoga scored a goal, you know.
First set piece. Dan Bennett scored his first goal of the season against Tanjung United, and he's nearly up for the header there. Madu Mahana flicked on. Now it's Albarex's turn to be a little bit indecisive in defence. They want a whistle that's not forthcoming. They're happy with the advantage anyway, I think. Albirex Niigata, look at this from Taniguchi on a barnstorming run. This is the transition that Norali was talking about. Back to Taniguchi. Suboi waits in the middle. And Dan Bennett, without knowing too much about it, gets the block in and it's out for a throw. But in a matter of 5 seconds, they've gone coast to coast there.
I still can't believe that Dan Bennett is already 42, you know. I know, he was back in the corner doing the attacking, and suddenly he's back defending, you know, tracking the Albirex player.
He is a model marvel, Daniel Bennett.
Man, definitely.
And just to correct you, he's the 43.
43? Oh, okay.
43 years young, 142 caps, I think it was, for Singapore. 142 caps, most cap player in Singapore's history. Now Mehmedovic down this left-hand side where Boris is there, which means there's no one in the middle, so Boris needs to wait for support. Kapinovic gets it back to Nakamura, and the space is really opening up for both sides in midfield here. Iman Hakim, I'm so surprised it's not more congested in the middle of the park. I think both sides very wary of the flanks, so making that their source of first lines of defence. Erwan Shah does well, but Mehmedovic is beaten to the punch, and Kunimoto will take it out for a throw. This is obviously scoreless, Norali, but it's developing into a fascinating tactical battle, isn't it?
If we look at the game in the last 20 minutes, I think it's going to be a very, very tight game, you know. You can't afford to make any mistake, you know, especially, you know, these 3 points is very important to take into the next game.
Ryan gets it to Mehmedovic. Oh, that was very strong work, standing up by Yu Takiwa. He out-battled Mehmedovic on that occasion, and here is that sweeper keeper, Takehiro Koga, who's so far had the only shot of the game that needed saving from Nakamura inside the first 10 minutes. Here is Nakamura again, this time getting to Boris, who's just drifted out onto the left flank for now. Mehmedovic trying the cue ball to play in Yasser Hanapi, wasn't enough on it, and again danger as Fukri Junaidi, the debutant for Albirex Niigata, comes through.
I mean, the decision making made by Fikri was too slow, you know. He should have made an early decision looking at Suboi after he makes the good run behind the defense line. This is...
Oh, chance, Taniguchi just wide. But it's opened up for them again. And once more, Tampines at the moment, like Albirex, giving their opponent space, but it's Albirex that are doing just that little bit more with it.
Look at the way that Suboy moves off the ball when Taniguchi's attack Daniel Bennett. You know, that could have been a pass and it could be 1-2-1 situation for Suboy. You know, but it still says that, you know, that was a good shot taken.
Well, KG Shigetomi, who'd be happy with the two coaches midway through this first half, Norelli?
Yeah, definitely. Maybe the chances they have created so far.
Oh, nice touch, nice skills from Fikri on debut. The free kick goes the way of Tampines Rovers, and just like that, we're midway through the first half. We're not too far off the first half hydration break, and it's still goalless here. The Young Lions still leading over at Jurong East in a game you can also follow live. That early penalty from Jaime Shahin. It's Kunimoto. Builds it out from the back for Albirex Niigata. Here's Yutakiwa. Kunimoto to Kosuke Chiku.
This is something that, you know, the Albirex game, you know, they start moving rotations. You see the number 8 pushing the number 6 up into the play, you know, and then they still keep the ball. You see the rotation again, the number 3 drops. This is something very hard for you to pick up these boys, you know. They keep on doing this for the whole game.
It's going to be a war of attrition, you fancy, and there's no question in my mind it was Tampines that tired the quicker. A game that was played at a very slow pace, that the fixture they played against each other at Jurong East, as Erwan Shah just gives a little, well, a nudge really, more of a tickle to Takiwa going through. That game, and in contrast to the way they match up here today, as Dan Bennett does really well to get in front of his man there and clear that to the halfway line. When they met last time at Jurong East, it was a game that came at the back of a very busy spell. I think it was both teams' third game in 8 days. Here, it's Albarex's first game for a fortnight, and Tampines, obviously they played that make-up game, but they've had a week before drinks as well, so slightly different circumstances, and the game is being played at a healthy enough pace, is it not, already?
I mean, the pace is not that fast at this moment, you know, because Tampines is detecting the game in terms of slowing down the game, and the good thing is Albirex is not playing into that, you know, so Albirex move the ball a bit faster. You know, I mean, of course, Albirex had the advantage, you know, having the good rest, moving towards this game.
So we'll take the hydration break midway through the first half with the score goalless, and a must-win game even this early on in the season for both sides, if more so for Tampines, I suppose, if they've got title aspirations. But Albirex will know the threat the Lion City Sailors pose, and I suppose we can take a look back at Nakamura, who's forced the only real save of the game, that shot that skidded along the surface, and Koga dealt with it well.
You know, with that kind of chance, usually Kyoga will finish it off, you know. I mean, the same on the other side with Taniguchi, you know, but you see, this is going to make the game more interesting moving into the second half.
Yeah, Taniguchi and Suboy both had identical opportunities in that opening quarter, and both sprayed them just wide. So a fascinating encounter, and one that so far has been excellently officiated as well by Farhad Mohammed. I know I'm never going to ask Norelli to comment on officials, but I call it as I see it. I think we've had some wonderful officiating.
They look good in red, they good in
so far this season. Come on. I think we said some good performances. It's not the easiest job in the world. And one thing, now come on, let's be objective about this. One thing, you know, that football fans, and we're all football fans at heart, I'm amazed in the modern day how assistant referees get offside calls right as often as they do. That is not an easy job.
Oh, definitely, man. I mean, you have to be on time every time with the line or with the players that is moving off the ball. So it's not an easy job to do. Even for referees, you know, you have to always be close to the play, and at the pace, if you play at a high level, it's not easy for them to do that.
Kunimoto.
And now Tampines is just going to detect the game again from the back. Oh, that was good pressing.
Well, Tampines Rovers, I suppose Gavley will be happy enough. As they try and get something going through Iman Hakim, who was brought in, of course, to replace Shah Shahiran. Oh, that's a back pass. Ryan Sanders gets it back to Shazwan. Now, down the left-hand side comes Yuta Kiwa. And it's behind for a goal kick. So not the instant classic that we thought it might have been. But still time for this to really open up in a game that's come, unfortunately, if you're just joining us, in a weekend where we've had to once more lock the fans out of the grounds for everyone's own safety. I hasten to add, we're desperate to welcome you back. It was a wonderful initiative by the FAS and the SPL. When we had 250 fans, it was one of the warmest sights I've ever seen in SPL football, when we had fans queuing at Howgang to get into that game against the Sailors that Diego Lopez's goal decided. And we hope to be welcoming the fans back. Kunimoto out to that far side. Here's on UN. Now, here he is, Hashioka, that menace down the right-hand side. It spells danger. Hashioka, Dan Bennett gets ahead to it, only as far as the edgy area. And Takiwa just couldn't get hold of that, but Hashioka, so often he's got the pace, the energy, the stamina and drive just to get the better of whoever he's facing down what is his opponent's left, and of course Albirex right-hand side. And it's an enviable task that Ryan Sanazal's got, marshalling that left-hand side of the Stags' defence. He's going to know all about the game he's been in when he wakes up tomorrow morning. Here's Shazwan. They're trying to ticky-tacky it out here. Mehmedovic. Oh, full marks for their patience and perseverance, but as they've done already a couple of times, they've coughed it up, and it's Ong Yuen, the Singaporean, that won it. Helping out at the back is Amarul Haikal. Dan Bennett. Madu. Oh, Iman Hakim, they've been caught out again. Taniguchi, he's got Chico ahead of him. Well, Taniguchi hesitated there. He still managed to come up with the ball. There's acres of space for Fikri. The flag's up here for offside against Suboy. It wouldn't have counted it. The Albirex centre forward slightly fumbled his control in any event. Just a reminder, still Tanjung Pagar United 0, Young Lions 1 at Geelong East. Look at the space there was on that near side for Fikri, and he was onside. Dan Bennett, Tampines being a little bit too delicate in trying to clear their lines here, and they've coughed it up again to Chiku this time, queuing up in the area. Chiku, he's got support to his left, he drags it back, and maybe that was the wrong option as Iman Hakim and Ryan Sanazal, but Tampines surely at some point you just want to put a foot through it and get it out your own half. This is a sustained spell of pressure for the White Swans post-water break, and they've got it through to Taniguchi again. Taniguchi into the area, Taniguchi goes down! And the referee, I think, is going to give a free kick for diving here, and he's going to book him. And the replay will be interesting. My initial reaction was it's exactly the correct decision from Farhan Mohammed. You don't like to see it, but Ryoya Taniguchi in the book for diving. Watch this and make your own mind up. Well, Taniguchi had a little nibble at him there. Well, he's just stumbled over there, hasn't he? I don't even think you can call it a dive. Let's have a look at it from this angle. Hakim, Mehmedovic definitely had a nibble at him, and I think that was why he went down, but there was no contact, and in my opinion, referee Farhan Mohammed has got that absolutely spot on. Maybe harsh if it was a question of him losing his feet, but the referee is entitled to take that action. Here's Chiku, back to the live action. Taniguchi waits in the middle. It's all Albirex at the moment. Chiku, first touch! And the shot that he manages to get away is wide right of Shazwan Buhari's post. Don't forget, at half-time, Nurali will be alongside me for his reactions on what's been a tactical battle to this point, but Tampines are just showing signs that they're have potentially got more mistakes in them at the back than Albirex Niigata have. Remember, when you contrast the defences, Albirex have conceded just 5 goals through now, what, 8 1/3 games. Tampines, 16 through a game more, having played that make-up match against the Young Lions last weekend, when, of course, they kept only their second clean sheet of the season. The other one also coming against the Young Lions in that remarkable 7-0 victory. They've scored Tampines Rovers in 43 straight AIA Singapore Premier League games. No team has managed to stop them from scoring since Albirex did so in a 0-0 draw back in 2019 here at OTH. But goalless draws have been a rarity between these two. My favourite Singapore Premier League game of recent times was the 4-3 here from 2018. Remarkable game when Asioka scored an injury time winner after Zulfaimi scored a wonderful goal to make it 3-3. Here's Chiku. Kunimoto. Oh, lovely ball, and Fikri's taken that well in his stride. Fikri, beautiful cross, Fikri! And it's a beautiful goal to open the scoring, and it's the debutant Fikri that will get the credit and the assist, and Suboi scores again. He's into double digits, the young player of the month for April. And Albirex make the breakthrough, but what about the cross from Fikri Junaidi on debut, the former Ghana international player, just about onside. It's pinpoint perfection. And the header from Suboi was immaculate as well. Albirex make the breakthrough, and you have to say on balance they deserve it. Look at that, lovely step over from Fikri to get the ball in his stride, and Suboi with Ryan Salazar unable to do anything to block out the cross. What about that cross from Fikri? First appearance of the season, and he started in style to create an assist for Kiyoshiro Suboi, who moves up to double digits for the season and is now just one behind Tomoyuki Doi. Back to Shazwan. I fear a bit for Tampines here. They're all at sea defensively, and while they've had their moments in this first half, they've been, for the most part, quite fleeting. Don't forget, these 2 games tonight are joined by 2 games tomorrow night. A busy weekend of AIA Singapore Premier League action. And the other game tonight at Jurong East, Tanjung United 0, Young Lions 1. Young Lions just under an hour away from their first win of the season, as you see this slightly late challenge from Suboi. But they're asking for trouble at the moment, Tampines at the back. Tomorrow, Hougang, Balestier Khalsa. And also, I'll be at Jalan can't wait to see if Nur Ali's Geylang can do the business against the Lion City Sailors with Maresh, who's fast becoming one of the stars of this season. In action tomorrow. We'll have a chat with Nur Ali at full time with a throw forward to tomorrow's game and what we can expect from the Eagles against the Sailors, who've hit top stride. First game for them without Aurelio Vidmar. Well, Tampines need to be very careful here. They don't concede a second before half-time, because I can't see them coming back from 2-0 down. They did, of course, Albirex give up a 2-goal lead against the Sailors earlier this season at Jalan Besar, but Stipe Plazova got a crucial goal right in half-time there. Here's Chico. They stood up well that time, Tampines Rovers, but the ball from Amedovich is telegraphed far too easily by Yamashita, who's a little bit unfortunate to accidentally handle the ball as he comes through, smiles all round. Albirex Niigata. Well, great to see a Singaporean being so central to an Albirex Niigata goal. Ong Yuen's been a standout for the Swans this season, and Fikri, who is one of their 2 mandated Singaporean starters, has played a really telling contribution down that left-hand side when we're so used to seeing Albirex make it happen down the right. Oh, look at this, Boris onto something! And Koga, sharp off his line, as we've seen so many times this season, gets there before the big bad man. Boris Kapitovic, oh, how Tampines could do with Boris popping up with his 8th of the season. We've already seen a goal for the Albirex goal-scoring machine. Hinapi. Hinapi battling with Takiwa. Oh, that's a cute layoff by Suboi, and it's come up okay. Here's Taniguchi. Madu Mahana's pulled away from that challenge, and there's acres of space down the right-hand side if they can pick the perfect pass, and if Hashioka can get there. Hashioka can, he's got Ongyuin ahead of him. Ryan Sanazal stands up well. Hashioka finds support well, and already this game is being played for me with the space on the pitch like it's the final 15 minutes, not 7 minutes to go before half-time, and more concerns for Tampines because Madu Mahana, who pulled out of that challenge, it's not going to be cramp after 40 minutes. I hope it's not the dreaded hamstring or maybe even a knee issue. He looks in some discomfort here, maybe a thigh strain even. The ice being applied to the thigh. Let's just have a look here. He just pulled away. I think he just overstretched there in that left thigh, causing problems for Madu Mahana. Now they have got Baihaki Kaizan on the bench, but he of course was due to start this game as I understand it. Had his second vaccine dose yesterday. One of the benefits, I suppose, of being over 40 for Baihaki. He got his second dose, but like it has done for so many people, it's knocked him for 6, so he wasn't considered fully fit, but he's really their only defensive option from the bench, so Gavin Lee will be desperately hopeful that Madu can continue here, and with a busy spell of games coming up for the Stags for the rest of May, they can ill afford to lose someone of Madu's quality, who's had a really strong season, Madu Mahana. He was influential in that win last week. He has, of course, come up with a couple of goals this season as well in the 3-1 win against Tanjung United, and a crucial goal in that 3-3 draw that opened the season against the Lion City Sailors. But for now, as he gets some treatment to what does look like a thigh problem, they'll have to continue with 10, and Ahmedovich will get us back underway. I can tell you Tanjung Pagar have equalised at Jurong East. Tanjung Pagar United won, the Young Lions won. So it's all square there. Update you on the goal scorer for Tanjung Pagar United very shortly. They've been busy in the transfer market, of course, this week. Tanjung Pagar United, as they continue to build under Hazard Jalani and Noel Shah. A really plucky side to them of the Jaguars this season. Here's Takiwa, crucial with Madu Mahana nursing an injury through to half-time. They do not concede a second before the break. At the moment, if you're watching this game, you would say Albirex do look the most likely to get the next goal. Stags have got to stay competitive and then maybe introduce Armin to take advantage of some of that left-hand side possession that they've been having. That's, for once, a misplaced pass that's too hot to handle for Fikri, who at the moment has produced the best cross of the game that led to the game's only goal. Continue, Lewis Jr. has got his 6th of the season to level it up as Boris Kapitovic is pinged for a push in the back, much to his disappointment. I think he's taken umbrage at that decision a bit there, Boris Kapitovic. Has to accept it as Albirex go again. Yeah, Lewis Jr., what a force he's been over the last couple of seasons. Came back from that horror injury as well last campaign. Here's Kunimoto. Desperately need to keep this to just a goal at the break, Tampines, and let Gavin Lee work his tactical mastery. Remember last season when the teams met at Jurong East, Albirex led 1-0 at half-time in that one through Tomoyuki Doi, who was doing for them last season what Suboi's doing this. They came out in the second half. Torfik was a factor. Boris Kapitovic got a brace, and they ended up winning by 4 goals to 1. We're going to need a similar turnaround here. At the moment, they've just got to try and find a way of getting some possession. There's Tezuka. Takiwa. Played through by Tezuka. Oh, is Taniguchi onside? He's not, and I'm not entirely sure how clear-cut that was. I think he was off. Again, as I mentioned to Norelli earlier, don't envy officials having to make the decision here. Now, was he definitely offside? I think the assistants just about got that right, but there was fractions of milliseconds in it. Full marks to our official so far. One big call our official, Fahad Mohammed, has had to make is that yellow card to Ryoya Taniguchi for diving. Just after the half-hour mark, here's Yasser Hanapi. Well, I said they want to keep it to just a single goal before half-time. If they could level it up, I think Albirex would feel like they've been robbed, bearing in mind the dominance they've had, but that's the beauty of football. It only takes a second to score a goal, as Ryan Sanazel Tries to get Amarul Heikel involved. He's not really been involved that much. Heikel was, the flag may well have gone up there in any event against Suboy, and it goes through to Shazwan Buhari. Half-time show will be coming up with Gaelic international coach Noor Ali. Stay with us for that. Is Iman Hakim. Dan Bennett to Madu. Over the top, they're sticking to Boris Kapinovic like glue. The big man has to work hard to hold it up, and he's lost out on that occasion. Look at the space that Albirex have got. Danger signs all over the pitch. Taniguchi gets the option to the right-hand side. Suboy! And Shazwan just about gathers. And there was a flag, I think, for offside in the second phase in any event. I can tell you the Albirex Niigata bench are furious about something down there. Now let's have a look. When the shot came in, yes, he's flagged for the player running through there who would have been offside. Mehmedovic. Mehmedovic to Iman Hakim. Now Iman. Yasser Hanapi's made a central run, and there wasn't anyone near him momentarily. Nakamura also. Iman's done well to hold this up. Now he finds Yasser Hanapi. Can Yasser hit one? Ends up playing it back to Madu. Madu inside, being hassled by Suboy. Yasser, Madu, Nakamura. This is more like it from the Stags. Mehmedovic, referee, has interfered in play. So that should be an uncontested drop ball. Now, we've seen teams this season go for goal from these. I don't think Mehmedovic is going to do that against the keeper of Koga's quality, but they will play on and they're entitled to as well. Nakamura out to this right-hand side. Cross is delivered in. Boris is up there, goes over everyone. And Boris has got a free header and it's off the line. Still not gone, Nakamura, blocked Yasser Hanapi. And Tampines so close to levelling it up right on the stroke of half-time. And having said that, they weren't doing much down the left-hand side. All the credit in the world to Amarul Heikel, I think it was, who got this back across, and Boris was given all the time and space in the world. And that was a brilliant clearance off the line. Thinking it's Kunimoto. I'll get clarification on that, but that's kept Alberex's lead intact, and that'll give Tampines some encouragement going into this second half. Here is Kunimoto. You need to identify, I think it was Yamashita or Kunimoto that was on the line there for Albirex Niigata as Koga goes long with his clearance, and look at that for a header. Straight into the path of Hashioka. Hashioka tormenting Ryan Sanazel. Hashioka, a little bit too cute that time along the ground, and Shazwan Buhari can gobble it up. Well, it's out the second half nicely, and there's just signs that there is still life in Tampines. I would be amazed if we don't see Armin Bosniak introduced at the break. Remember as well, they've got on the bench Mark Ryan Tan, who is one of those designated under-23 players, but make no mistake, Mark Ryan Tan has shown some great stuff for Tampines this season after joining from the Young Lions. Erwan, Mehmedovic, still time for them to launch one more attack, but Mehmedovic a little bit too casual there, and Fikri's picked his pocket. Suboy, Fikri, who's becoming really influential down this left. He's going to try another cross, this time into Madu. And they just need to keep on their toes, the Stags, for another 30 seconds here. You can see in the background briefly, Armin Bosniak is warming up vigorously. That suggests to me that he will be introduced at half-time. Here's Tezuka. Kunimoto. Back to Koga. And out of play by Amarul Heikel. And that will take us to half-time. Our referee, Fahad Mohammed, blows for a first half that's seen some fascinating tactical interchanges. The coaches trying to outwit each other. The only goal of the game so far coming just after the half-hour mark. Wonderful work down the left from the debutant Singaporean Fikri, straight onto the head of Suboy, who powerfully headed home from inside the 6-yard box for his 10th of the season. At the other end, well, an early chance for Nakamura, but the closest Tampines Rovers have come 60 seconds before the break. Boris Kapinovic with time and space after Amarul had squared it back for him, but his header cleared off the line with Koga beaten. At the break here at our Tampines hub, it's Tampines Rovers 0, Albirex Niigata 1. The thoughts of Geylang coach Noor Ali next. Welcome back live to our Tampines hub. Noor Ali, Geylang international head coach, alongside me for tonight's big Saturday night matchup. Last season's top two and this season's third and first going into tonight, matching off. And well, there's no question, I think the right team are in front at the break. Noor Ali will help me dissect the best of the first half action. Tampines coughing up mistakes just a couple of times too many, even though they should arguably be going in at half-time all square. And this was an early chance for Suboy, just wide, Noor Ali.
I mean, Tampines was trying to play their normal build-up game, you know, and I think Albirex is pushing up front, and I think a few mistakes that they lost the ball in the defending set that nearly caused them that chance from Suboy early on in the game.
So Tampines weren't without their chances. They've clearly, I mean, I don't know the stats, I'm imagining about 35-40% possession, but Nakamura with one of those efforts that can sometimes take a deflection on the way through and catch a keeper out, but of course we've already discussed at length in the pre-show just how good Koga is. Great hold-up play by Boris Kapinovic on that occasion. Nakamura has been lively. There's been lots of space for him to operate in midfield, and this was good work down the right involving Madu on one of the rare occasions Madu went forward.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier on, you know, he actually went up to overlap against Young Lions and got the goal. And this is the second time actually Albirex had let Kyoga had a shot at goal, you know, and I think there was another good chance from Tampines, you know.
So Tampines, these highlights actually suggest for me, and again, it's all about interpretation, is it? Noor Ali, you'll probably tell me I'm being a bit batty, but I think Albirex were the better side. They deserved to be in front at half-time, and this was a chance this time. Taniguchi, almost identical to the Suboy chance from earlier.
I mean, it's the same situation where they lost the ball again in the defending set, and Albirex managed to go into a quick transition and nearly get the goal again, you know. But I think they should have cut off these kind of mistakes in the second half.
Now, this is vintage Albirex. The only thing that was surprising about it is it came from the left-hand side rather than the right. I love Fikri's technique there to get the ball in his stride. The cross is pinpoint perfection. Subo doesn't miss from there. But what about that from the Singaporean debutant, Fikri?
I mean, that was a very intelligent cross from he put it into space for Subo to attack the ball, and he connected it well for the goal.
Could Ryan Salazar have done anything there? Was there an argument that he should have tried to get something to do, or was it very difficult?
Mean, the pace of the ball and even the height of the ball was very hard to defend, you know. So I think it was well taken goal.
But they should maybe be level at half-time. They didn't do that down the left, but to give Amaral some credit here, he just hooked this back. Boris Kapinovic with all the time and space in the world, and I'm still trying to decipher. I think it was Kunimoto on the line. It was. Kunimoto with that goal line clearance should really be 1-1. I mean, that was a fantastic goal line clearance.
Definitely. There should be 1-1. But there was good discipline from the Albirex defender to drop back and get the goal when the goalkeeper is out of position.
Let's look at the tail of the tape for the first 45 minutes. Unfortunately, we don't have a possession stats, but I've been making my own unofficial stats. I reckon I've got it down at about 65-35 in Albarex's favour. That might be maybe a little bit extreme. You can see the shots on target, not many of them. The shots on target, well, really, for Tampines, it should be 2 because they had that Nakamura shot on target early in that effort right on half-time. And the 1 yellow card, Taniguchi for diving. I don't think we've seen many of them this season. Half-time in the other match. A Jaime penalty gave the Young Lions the lead early in that one. Remember, they're chasing their first win of the season. And Lewis Jr. Levelling it up just before half-time. And another note, I know I've said this before, but I think it's important we note these milestones and encourage the young players coming through. Congratulations to 15-year-old Rao Suhaimi at 15 years and 232 days. He's the youngest debutant in SPL history tonight, eclipsing Kyrie Nadim's record of 15 years and 298 days from March 2020. Congratulations to you, sir. More to come from Nurali at full time. We'll also have a chat with Nurali about tomorrow's big game between the Sailors and the Eagles. But when we come back, it's the second half of the big one here. At the break, Stags 0, White Swans 1.
AIA Vitality. Your health is every choice you make. We are part of a global wellness program with over 1.65 million members in AIA across Asia. And in Singapore, we have more than 100,000 members on AIA Vitality. Members live healthier by knowing their health through online health assessments and screenings. They improve their health by logging exercises and enjoying the rewards to keep them going. And indeed, members are making improvements in their health. Even the vitality age gap has narrowed to less than a year. Best of all, you earn points for every activity. The higher your status, the greater the rewards, including up to 15% off insurance premium on selected AIA plans. To keep you going, there is the weekly fitness challenge with personalized targets to help pace and improve your fitness. When you complete the challenge, you get a spin on the Vitality wheel to earn Vitality coins, which you can use at the marketplace. That's not all. You also earn AIA Vitality points for completing these activities. And very soon, you'll be on your way to Platinum status. And we sweeten the deal further with many exciting partner benefits that you can enjoy. With AIA Vitality, nothing gets better than a healthier you. So get on to AIA Vitality today because your health is every choice you make.
Welcome back live to our Tampines hub at half-time. This one set up nicely. Tampines 0, Albirex Niigata 1. Can the Stags do here what they did at Jurong East last season? They trailed 1-0 at half-time there and came back to run away with it by 4-1. Different personnel for both teams, less than 12 months on, but Gavin Lee is a tactical mastermind. And will we see, as I expect to see, Armin Bosniak introduced at half-time? There is your answer. The big man is on. The Montenegrin will be coming on for the second half, and will that give them more of a threat down the left? You would imagine the answer to that will be an emphatic yes. For all that there's an argument for Tampines being lucky to only trail by 1 at the break, you could also argue they should be level after Kurimoto cleared that off the line. So that's where we're at, as always, with the mighty Albirex. They'll make a change at half-time, and how good is this to see? First appearance for quite some time for Ryosuke Nagasawa. He's had that dislocated shoulder, but a player that many people were earmarking for Player of the Season contention is about to come on as well. So significant changes to personnel at half-time. We'll wait and see how this one transpires in the second stanza. Taking their time, coming out in dribs and drabs, Albirex Niigata, but we are going to see for the first time this campaign Ryosuke Nagasawa, who's had that dislocated shoulder problem. He was in a sling up until a month ago when I saw him, as Bosniak does come on for Amarul Haikal. That was expected. So Armin Bosniak, a player that Norali and myself highlighted, and it's going to be Ong Yuen that makes way for the returning Ryosuke Nagasawa. And if he is in the kind of form he was when we last saw him in action, Tampines better watch out. So arguably, both teams, no disrespect to the departed players, strengthened by those half-time changes. And we'll wait and see what it throws up in the second stanza. I've got a feeling it's going to throw up more goals in the second half than it did in the first, where we had just the one. So not one, but two changes, incidentally, from Albirex, because the other half-time fixture, Karuba Kondo, is coming on, and I mean, it's obviously his debut. I'm sure he's delighted to have been given the 45 minutes, but Fikri Junaidi, the Singaporean, departs, having created the goal, really. Wonderful cross after taking the ball brilliant in his stride, and Karuba Kondo, who is on a goal-scoring streak himself. He scored, Kondo, in his last three. He'll be looking to get on the score sheet again. So Kondo, who's been on fire, and of course he scored the winning goal when these teams met earlier in the season at Jurong East as well. So it's the Stags in the black, yellow trim playing right to left, the Swans in the white playing left to right. Our referee, Farhad Mohammadi, if you're just joining us, showed the only yellow card of the first half to Ryoya Taniguchi for diving. And straight away, Nagasawa is back in business. Great to see Ryosuke Nagasawa back in the AIA Singapore Premier League. We're blessed to have a stunning array of top draw players, and Nagasawa is certainly one of those, of course. Title winner with Albirex last season, represented the national team in Japan at age groups in his teens, and they're in business once more. Here they come down the left, danger brewing. Kondo straight into the action, barrels it into Mahana, who recovers well, Maru Mahana. And you've already seen glimpses of what extra dimension Karuba Kondo and Ryosuke Nagasawa can bring to the party here. Yes, had a youth career that began at Gamba Osaka, of course, are one of Tampanese's opponents in the AFC Champions League group stage that's upcoming. They're in Group H there with the likes of Gamba Osaka, Jeonbuk Motors, the Korean Giants, and Sydney from Australia. It's going to be an awe-inspiring task for Tampanese, but they can take heart by what happened in the west zone of the AFC Champions League when the minnows from Tajikistan, Istiklal, managed to top Group A in front of Al Hilal, the 2019 AFC champions, no less. Here's Shazwan. Firm header from Hashioka. Ryan Sanazao, who had to work so hard down that left-hand flank to try and quell Hashioka's forward forays in the last half. Nakamura having to drop deep. Dan Bennett. This is better from Tampanese. Iman Hakim. Nice touch, but again the pass easily read by Shuya Yamashita. Iman Hakim to Dan Bennett, back underway at Geelong East, where remember at half-time it was Tanjung United 1, the Young Lions 1. Young Lions looking for their first win of the season. As it stands, if the score line stays the same here at OTH, Albirex Niigata will be 6 points clear, with the Lions City Sailors having their game in hand tomorrow. Here's a first look at Armin Bosniak. No player in the league has created more chances. That's a glorious ball to Mamedovich. It's come to Boris Kapinovic. He's got a man over on that far side. Pulls the trigger! And it's just off kilter from Irwan Shah. But that's Tampines Rovers' best passage play in terms of build-up in the game so far. Lovely layoff from Boris Kapinovic. And no coincidence that Armin Bosniak was involved. Armin Bosniak, who's playing ever so deep, currently inside his own half as Albirex get ready to take this goal kick. In fact, unless I'm much mistaken, Armin Bosniak appears to be playing at left back here, which is a very interesting tactic. He's going to be the fresh legs on the scene, so has he got the stamina? Probably has, to go up and down. He's certainly got the ability. Here's Yutakiwa. Time and space through the middle. Here's the ever dangerous Kazuki Hashioka. Yamashita. Over the top, Yamashita looking for Hashioka. Oh, Hashioka's taken that brilliantly. He's got goal side of Armin. Hashioka! They've doubled the lead. And the gamble to put Armin Bosniak in at right back, you have to say, may have cost them dearly right at the start of the second half. It was a glorious ball over the top. And it's Tsuboi again, his second of the game. He's now level with Tomoyuki Doi at the top of the charts. But look at the control and the first touch from Hashioka. Oh, so simple. The pass over the top by Yamashita was glorious. The first touch from Hashioka was marvellous. And the finish from Tsuboi was simple. And it's the disaster start to the second stanza for the Stags of Tampines Rovers. And now, need I tell you, Tsuboi is 1 goal away from 3 consecutive hat-tricks. And I need to check which foot he finished that one with, because he's also, having scored the first one with his head, a fraction away from another perfect hat-trick. That would be 2 perfect hat-tricks in 3 games. When we get another look at that goal, I wouldn't mind seeing which foot it came off. Well, Albirex are making a statement here. Tampines Rovers, who remember did the double over the White Swans last season, have got a mountain to climb. The only inspiration they can take is the fact that the Sailors came from 2 down against the Swans, but they're going into overdrive here. And Madu Mahana's ended up on the deck. Kondo's got the better of him. Kondo gets the cross in, looking for Taniguchi. Dan Bennett heads it away. Only as far as Tezuka. Well, they're in their swagger now, Albirex Niigata. Look at this. First time cross. And Madu can only turn it behind for a corner, which remarkably is Albirex Niigata's first corner of the game. It's only the second in the entire contest with 50 minutes on the clock. Tampines had one, nothing came of it. And it's going to be all hands to the pump. Let's have another look at this again. Just want to see which foot he finished this off with so we can see. I think it was his right. I might get someone in our production truck to confirm that. I think it was his right foot. There's another good cross. Heads are up. Dan Bennett got there first, but the header didn't go very far. I'm being told by my excellent producer, Heine, that it was the right foot. So all eyes open now for a left foot goal from Suboi, who's one away from 3 straight hat-tricks. And I'll have the stat boffins. I'm sure the wonderful Teng Kiat, who's done some brilliant work on the stats front for the AIA Singapore Premier League social media channels, will be able to tell me if a player's ever got hat-trick in 3 straight games in the AIA SPL. It's been going a long time. Might have to ask my friend Noor Ali as well. He was around right at the start of the Singapore Premier League. Over the top now. Well, they quite simply need to get the next goal, Tampines, if they're going to have any hope here. Boris Kapitovic, they've made their big move with Armin Bosniak coming in at half-time, but having him play at left-back ended up costing them as Hashioka got goal side. And his defensive frailties were laid out, albeit it was wonderful play from Albirex. This is better. Boris! They've got one back! Big bad Boris Kapitovic! It's game back on at OTH! Boris is 8th of the campaign, and business is picking up here on the east coast of Singapore. Well, for once, Albirex Niigata's turn to look a bit defensively frail. Great strength from Boris. And Takahiro Koga, I think, caught a little unawares. Irwan Shah with a lovely reverse pass. He turned Kunamoto inside out, and that was an opportunist goal, and it might not have been as glorious in the build-up as the first 2 Albirex strikes, but nevertheless it was impressive the way Boris struck that home for his 8th of the campaign. Meanwhile, at the other end, Albirex Niigata trying to strike straight back already. Business in the second half picking up considerably to what we saw in the first 45. Ryan Sanazal. Armin's done really well there. Mamenovic, oh, he's giving it away to Hashioka. Hashioka got past Yasser Hanapi, who's then been penalised by the referee. And I told you we'd only seen a couple of corners in the game, one apiece. We haven't seen too many set-piece opportunities full stop. This is one of them. They'll be sending Shuya Yamashita up from the back for this one. Of that you can be certain. And it's the returning Nagasawa who's over it alongside Chiku. Kosuke Chiku. Tampines back within 1, but maybe not for long! But the flag's up for offside, it won't count. Well, he was in acres of space, Taniguchi there. Dan Bennett's on the deck. Was it offside or a push, the referee seen? Let's have a little look at this. Well, it's not offside, is it? I think the referee's given that for the body check on Dan Bennett. And on that angle, it looked like it was a justifiable decision to give as well. But the frustrating thing from an Albirex Niigata point of view is I'm not entirely sure that had anything to do with the way the disallowed goal actually played out. Nevertheless, it's still 2-1. Tampines are still in this. Mamenovic was trying to leave that for Armin. Kunamoto picks it up. This game is really open now. There's going to be more goals to come. Over to the left-hand side it goes. Kondo is there. Ball into the middle. And it was just beyond the white shirts, and will go out for a throw on this near side that Ryan Sanazao will take. Ryan Sanazao, Dan Bennett. And he finds a white shirt with a pass. Oh, look at Hashioka. Glorious stuff for the talisman of Albirex Niigata, and they've won another free kick. The free kicks are starting to add up now. Well, Tampines given a lifeline there, back in the game from what really has been their only offensive foray in the second half. But of course, if you want to be balanced about the argument, you could say they were very close to scoring right at half-time as well. The way the game's played out, Albirex probably think they should be away and gone by now, but they're very much not. Now, over on this near side, how sharp is Nagasawa after that long spell out? Oh, Ryosuke Nagasawa. Oh, Armin's been done again. Nagasawa into the area, and to his credit, Armin Bosniak battled back to do enough to put Nagasawa off. Now, Yase Hanapi, that's got to be a yellow card, a cynical push in the back. Yase Hanapi takes it quickly, and the referee, while showing the yellow card, lets them play on. Nakamura comes out to Yasir. Get confirmation of who that yellow was shown to. I think it was Yamashita. Confirmation will come downstairs from our excellent lady down there. You see her doing all the pre and post match interviews, and of course the excellent SPL show, your one-stop shop for all the goals of the week from the SPL, Miss Faranaya. Oh, look at that. Dan Bennett getting the block it all. Nakamura just starting to be played at a faster pace, this, as the yellow card, I can tell you, went to you, Tokiwa. It's breathless stuff at the moment. The pace really picked up. Mehmedovic, Armin Bosniak. Iman Hakim, Dan Bennett. Still locked at 1 each, by the way, at Geelong East. Tanjung Pagar United 1. Young Lions 1. Jaime from the penalty spot for the Young Lions, chasing their first win of the season. Lewis Jr. levelling it up just before the break there. Here. Oh, who's going to come out on top? Remember, Gavin Lee has got form in the book for coming from behind against Albirex Niigata, but there's space to exploit down this right. It's really opening up this game now, and it's a danger man, Hashioka. He's already created one. That cross, though, into the breadbasket of Shazwan Buhairi, whose dispatch is good. Finds Yasser Happy in space. He's trying to thread it through to Mehmedovic, but they're just in danger of becoming overrun in midfield at the moment, Tampines. At times when you watch Albirex Niigata, not just against Tampines, but so many opponents in the second half, it looks like they're playing against 10 men. Such is the ease with which they maintain possession. Oh, Boris Kapitovic just catching the Japanese man late there. It'll be okay to continue. Well, there's Yutakawa, who got this yellow card, and I mean, again, taking one for the team there. The more traditional way of picking up the yellow for that is pulling the shirt, but he wasn't taking any chances in case Yasser slipped away from him. Well, remember, they're the team with the best disciplinary record in the division as well, Albirex Niigata, but they're the only team with players in the book so far. Taniguchi for diving and Takiwa for that. Nice layoff from Suboi. Here's Ryosuke Nagasawa. Nagasawa just signs there that he might be a little bit ring rusty as he's eased back into action. Nakamura, great quick turn and feet. Mari Mahana. Dan Bennett. Ryan Sanazao. Armin. Dan Bennett, much option but to go back to Shazwan. Madu. Boris Kapinovic has worked really hard. He's been isolated for long periods, and he'll win the free kick there. And they'll take it quickly. They need Boris on his feet. Meanwhile, Ryan Sanazau is down in some discomfort. At the other end of the field, here's Armin. Now, we saw him caught out defending, but we know he's lethal going forward. Look at this, Armin Bosniak. Sensational defending by Hashioka. Dealt with that danger brilliantly, because he really was in the kind of territory where you can quite easily concede a penalty. And remarkably, this game is very much still alive. Look at this from Hashioka. My word. Iman Hakim, Nakamura. Iman, Dan Bennett. Tampines starting to push forward a little bit more now. For the first time, I think, in this game, every outfield player for a split second there was in the Albirex half. Here's Iman. Armin to his left, who's starting to look dangerous, finding his stride, the Montenegrin. Armin. Suboy manages to find its intended recipient, who was Kondo. Ryan Sanazau can pick this up now, though. And Madu will have no choice but to go back to Shazwan. Yasser, lovely header from Yasser Hanapi. Here's Nakamura, over the top. Boris will be offside here. Yeah, flags up for offside, it's the correct decision. Substitution is on the way for Tampines. I told you a moment ago that Ryan Sanazau looked like he was coming to the end of his tether in terms of being able to continue. He's going to be replaced by Baihaki now. That, of course, means now Dan Bennett and Baihaki will be playing at the back for Tampines Rovers, which is something that certainly at the start of games, Gavin Lee tries to avoid. And when you bear in mind Dan Bennett is 43 and Baihaki is 37, they'll have a combined age of, just doing my maths there, 79, the centre-back pairing for Tampines when Ryan Sanazau comes off. Add into the mix that you've also got Armin Bosniak, who's not recognised as a left-back per se, playing at the back, I'm assuming. I mean, I'm sure Gav will say they're switching to a back three with Madu, Dan Bennett and Baihaki, but whichever way you level it up, it's going to leave them exposed. But at the other end, here's Yasir. Now Armin's up front, Boris waits in the middle. Can Armin find him? Armin Bosniak. Oh, he ducked under the ball there. Yasir Hanapi, where he might have tried to get a flick on. Now they come down the left again. Lovely cut inside. Nagasawa wants it down the right. Here's Hashioka. All of a sudden, this is turning into a fascinating clash. Not been the best game of the season, there's no suggesting of that, but what it has been, it's been absorbing, and made even more absorbing by Boris Kapinovic. Scoring out of nowhere, really was an example of a goal poacher's score, the way he muscled in front of Kunimoto, but they're driving through the middle again. Poor pass, well watched by Sanazau, who we're told is about to depart the scene, but if that was his last contribution, it was a valuable one, and it will be his last contribution, because the change is coming after, well, it was going to come, but they took the free kick quickly, and now there's another stag down, and it's Nakamura, I think, who's down in some discomfort, hobbling away from a challenge. Armin. Here's Mamedovic. They may as well try and have a go at goal here with Nakamura out of play. Now to the right-hand side, Irwan Shah. Now back to Nakamura, who's been hobbling around, and well, they lost the momentum there a little bit, Tampines. If they were going to play on, they should have tried to maybe have a strike at goal, and the end result is Dan Bennett's pass is straight through to Takehiro Koga. Next time the ball comes out of play, we will see that change. It'll be second change of the game for Tampines Rovers. Of course, they have still got their super sub Torfik Supano to call upon. I'm sure we'll be seeing him if they're chasing a goal later on. Oh, Armin's headed that straight to Nagasawa. Nagasawa inside to Hashioka. Oh, Hashioka's quick feet almost tricked himself. Nakamura hacking away, the combative midfielder doing so fairly, and brings the ball out. Yasser Hanapi then contrives to lose it straight to Kondo, who's got pace to burn. This is going to be a real challenge for Irwan Shah. Kondo. Well, Baihaki has been waiting an age to come on. Baihaki Kaizan. Here's Tezuka. It's become a slightly more even contest in the second half, despite the fact that Albirex caught the Stags cold right at the start of it. Here's Nagasawa. Nagasawa up against Ryan Sanazo, who's about to be Satichi to remember. Hashioka looking for the 1-2, doesn't get it. Goes back to Nagasawa. Oh, look at that from Nagasawa. Hashioka's onside, Hashioka! And it wasn't too far away from Suboi sliding in to finish it off. Good goalkeeping by Shaz Wambuhairi. Well, he's been waiting at least 3 minutes now to come on by Haki. The ball just won't go out of play. Takiwa. Kondo. Now, darting inside is Taniguchi. Taniguchi to the byline. He's got Erwan Shah for company. He's got Takiwa for support. Takiwa. Oh, look at that. They found Kosuke Chiku. Not often you see Albirex go for goal from outside the penalty area. I wonder if we'll see it now. Hashioka. Hashioka teasing cross. Mehdi Mahanis header away. Finds a black shirt. Now Yasir should get it to Mehmedovic. Now Mehmedovic has got some space to operate here. He's got Armin and Boris ahead of him. Not much in the way of support coming at a rapid pace. So he plays it to the left to Armin Bosniak. Armin, oh, Yasir's back on this. Can he take it first time? Yasir Hanapi to Mehmedovic. Mehmedovic to Boris Kapinovic for 2-2. He's put it wide and he was onside. And now the change will come. Well, Ryan Sanazao, who's been out on his feet for about 10 minutes, goes off. Baihaki comes on, so that centre-back pairing. Just checking my maths, my maths is horrendous. 43 and 39, that's 82. Let me just check I'm not doing Baihaki a disservice. No, he's 37, I am, I apologise, Baihaki Kaizan. It's 37 and 43. My maths is horrendous. So that's 80. A combined age now of 80. The centre-back pairing for Tampines Rovers. Two of the most decorated footballers in recent history for Singapore. Dan Bennett, the most capped player of all time. Will they be exploited by the undoubted pace of Hashioka and Kondo in these latter stages? But the Stags are still in this. It's over the top. Here's that pace down the flanks again. Mehdi Mahana watched that really well. Erwan. Nakamura. Gavin Lee's tweaking has kept them competitive here, despite the blow of going 2 down right after the break. And Yasser Hanapi all of a sudden's got empty real estate in front of him. The cross was disappointing, easily dealt with by Yamashita. Well, that's over the top for Chiku. Chiku finds Taniguchi. Now Taniguchi driving through the middle. This will be a test of Baihaki and Bennett. Oh, they've drifted it through, and Mehdi Mahana shields it from Suboi into the grateful hands of Shaz Wambuhairi. Well, we're going to see Taufik shortly. He'll be coming on, I'm told, for Iman Hakim. So the super sub, who came off the bench to score a stunner last week against the Young Lions for his 4th of the season. He is their 2nd highest goal scorer after Boris Kapinovic, who's already got his 8th for the season tonight. If you're just joining us, Suboi with goals 10 and 11. He's now level with Tomoyuki Doi at the top of the goal scoring charts. What feats by those two men. Over the top, oh, Boris is in here. Boris, narrow angle again, Boris! And it took a deflection, it's behind for a corner. Boris Kapinovic is trying to go toe-to-toe with Suboi here. He's 1 goal behind, but he's starting to get chances. Didn't have a sniff in the first half, other than that header right on half-time. And look at this. I'll tell you something, if not for Kunamoto covering across, that might have been 2-2. Second Stags corner. Both Baihaki and Bennett can give them presence at these set pieces. For all you might wonder about the vulnerability of them for pace at the back, they've got height at set pieces. Baihaki nearly got to it as well. Dan Bennett will pick up the pieces. To Nakamura. Erwan, he's just had a wild slash at that with Suboi closing him down, and it's all the way back to Kondo, who gets it to Koga. Oh, that's something you don't see every day. Not exactly a criminal mistake by Koga, but that's the first time I've seen his distribution that sloppy, as we take the second half hydration break with 20 minutes to go. And while we were struggling for things to tell you and talk about at the hydration break of the first half, that is not the case here, because the second half has thrown up 2 goals, one of them a work of art, as Hashioka skinned Armin to set up Suboi for his second. Here's the first goal on the half-hour mark. The Singaporean Fikri on debut with a wonderful cross headed by Suboi over the top from Yamashita. Hashioka does what he does best down the right-hand side, and Suboi with the right foot to give him a headed goal and a right-foot goal tonight. But Boris Kapinovic take a bow, getting the better of Kunimoto, and a great game to that point to leave this game very much on a knife edge. And both teams have had reasonable chances since then. In fact, you could argue Tampines have had the better chances since they got that goal back. So with 20 to play here, live on Singtel Star Hub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page and One Play Sports. Such a shame that we've had to lock the fans out this weekend because of the new batch of COVID restrictions, but you've got the best seat in the house both tonight for this game, the game going on at Jurong East where Tanja Bagar and Young Lions are drawing 1 apiece, and don't forget the double-header tomorrow, 2 fascinating games. It's Cheetahs Tigers at Hougang tomorrow, and Sailors Eagles at Jalan Besar. Like tonight's matches, both 8:30 kickoffs. We'll get Noor Ali's thoughts at full time of what we can expect from his Eagles as they take on the Sailors post-Vidmar tomorrow night. So, Taufik, Soprano is on. I understand from Farah downstairs they were debating whether to keep Iman Hakim on, but it is Iman that goes off for Taufik, so they've got more bite up front now, the Stags. That might allow Boris to play a little bit more centrally, because Taufik, with those recognisable armbands he wears, is going to be a menace down the right-hand side. So they've got threats down both flanks now, Tampines, undoubted. Taufik down the right, Armin down the left, and Boris through the middle. And this will be a tactical masterstroke if Tampines can get something from this, because, of course, Albirex Niigata have already played their 2 main substitute cards in the shape of Kondo and the returning Nagasawa. And now, all of a sudden, Tampines are giving Albirex a taste of their own medicine, forcing them into the mistakes in their own final third. Well, if Gavin Lee has masterminded some kind of final 20-minute rope-a-dope tactic here, reminiscent of Muhammad Ali's big fights in the 70s, this will be something really special. Still, just do fear for them that they might be caught on a quick counter, but they're in this game. It's testament to his fighting spirit and that of his squad. Armin, oh, he's clattered into by Hashioka there. Referee will have a word. First transgression I think we see from Hashioka. She'll get away with just an acknowledgement from the referee that he thought he was a bit naughty there. Here's Madhu. All of a sudden, Tampines enjoying the lion's share of possession. Nice layout from Boris. Irwan. Oh, Yasser Hanapi in there. Crucial header from Yamashita. Oh, that was late, and that was naughty. Memenovic will go into the book here, I fancy. Yellow card, Memenovic. I don't think he can have too many complaints. It was very late, and he was coming on from a sideways angle right in front of the referee. So Memenovic becomes the first Tampines player to go into the book. Captivating close we've got to this game here on a Saturday night in Singapore, over the top. I haven't seen too much from Nagasawa. And Dan Bennett, there should be a free kick there, surely, no? It doesn't. Nagasawa picks it up, all of a sudden Taniguchi, Suboi waits in the middle, and it's deflected, and fortunately deflected off Kondo, safely enough into the hands of Shazwan. Yeah, Kondo, who's making a habit, a bit like Taufik, of scoring off the bench. He's got 4 goals this season. He's scored in their last 3. Armin Bosniak. Mehmedovic, straight into the body of Takehiro Tezuka by Haki. Dan Bennett's now switched to the left-back role that caught out Armin for the second Albirex goal. I think actually almost playing a back three at times with Madu on the right-hand side of it, Bennett on the left, and Haki through the middle. Here is Haki. Here's Shazwan. Armin. Ashioka again, and Armin. Armin coming out on top, the Montenegrin. Here's Yasir. Haki, he can certainly pick a pass. He's picked a terrible one there, though, straight into the hands of Nagasawa. And Kondo's arriving at pace. Suboi in the middle, Tanagachi too. Kondo into the area, Kondo goes down. Great tackle, Madu Mahana. He's burned over Haki big time there. Boris Kapinovic trying to release Torfik, but I don't think he knew whether Torfik was onside or not. Didn't want to risk it. Goes back to Madu and then have to build from the back with Shazwan again. All the while, the clock is ticking down. We're inside the final 15. I can tell you the lightning warning system has been activated at Jurong East. That game was suspended with just over an hour on the clock. So the way things are heading, obviously if you're new to Singapore watching this from overseas, the Jurong East Stadium, despite the name, is in the west of the island. And here at OTH, we're on the east. So whatever rain is there does tend to head here, but we should be okay to get through the game here. Well, what's happened here? Koga caught out of his area. Yasser Napio, he couldn't get it through to Boris with Koga stranded. But I was speaking to Noor Ali before the game. We've hardly seen a mistake from Koga all season. We've nearly seen two from him. Tonight, he got away with one there. Yes, just a reminder, that game lightning warning system. If you tuned over to this game having been interrupted with the game at Jurong East, we'll keep you up to date with resumptions there. Here you're joining us with a thrilling final 30 minutes on the agenda. Stags 1, Swans 2. Swans taking the lead after the half-hour mark. The Singaporean on debut, Fikri, wonderful cross headed in by Suboi. Tampines with an effort headed off the line by Boris right on half-time. Second half is Haki. He's going to pick up a card for that. Haki knew what he was doing there, I fancy. Yes, 3 minutes into the second half, Hashioka catching out the inexperienced fullback Armin Bosniak to cross for a simple tap in for Suboi with his right foot, as we get another look at Koga going walkabout here. Well, is that not a free kick to Yasser Napi in any event? If that pass is threaded through to Boris, it's 2-2. They're knocking on the door here, Tampines. And every time an Albirex player goes down now, you can be sure Gavin Lee will be adding up the time and totting it up on his little stopwatch to make sure the referee plays the appropriate time added on. Back to the summary. So 2-0 Albirex just after half-time. And then Boris Kapinovic with his 8th of the season. A real goal out of nothing. Just 4 minutes after Albirex had doubled their lead, has left this game on something of a knife edge. Mistakes are creeping in, niggly challenges are creeping in. Suboi clipped by Haki there, who becomes the 4th player to go into the book after Takiwa, Taniguchi and his teammate Mehmedovic. Yes, so if you have joined us and are waiting on news, we will tell you when that game is resuming at Jurong East. And of course, the bonus for AIA Singapore Premier League fans as well is that that game will be going on after this one's completed. So you'll have some bonus live action to enjoy from Singapore tonight. Here's Boris Kapinovic. He's held the ball up brilliantly tonight. Nakamura. Yasser Henapi to Mehmedovic. Armin. Unless my eyes deceive me, Tampines are finishing the stronger here. Yasser Henapi's going to compete for this. And he'll get a throw-in out of it as well. Good hustle from Yasser Henapi and Armin. Here is the Montenegrin. Yasser. Dan Bennett. Oh, look at that flick from Taniguchi. But Haki was alive to it. Just couldn't get on the other end of the pass. Solid header, Dan Bennett. Nakamura. Nakamura, is he getting the better of Taniguchi here? Not quite. Ended up losing it to Hashioka. Dan Bennett brings in Mehmedovic. Well, Tampines, since they made those changes, and the changes have bedded in of Armin, Torfik and Baihaki, they're having the better of the possession here, but they're just not turning it into the kind of opportunities that Albirex have done on occasion. Over the top, though, is the flag down. Here it is, Torfik! Oh, he's whistled wide. Gavin Lee, I can see downstairs with his head in his hands. How close was that? Torfik, who scored a similar goal against the Young Lions last week. His technique is perfect there. He's timed that run to absolute perfection. That bounce did him a favour as well. Look at this from Mehmedovic, by the way. Picked that brilliantly, and it just almost held up too well from him in a strange way. He almost had to pull back and just couldn't get the perfect connection. Well, at this point, I should remind you as well that Noor Ali predicted a lively 2-2 draw here, and he's not going to be far wrong the way things are looking. Tampines finishing the stronger. As Boris come back from an offside position there, I think he might have done. Kunimoto. Look at Koga. My word, how much has he got under that? It's going to go through to Shazwan, one bounce. Baihaki. Into the final 8 we play. Probably be at least 3 or 4 added on. Bit of a couple of stoppages. Nakamura. Armin. Yassir waits in the middle. He's getting more and more advanced. Armin. 6-yard box. Yassir was trying to run onto that. Nakamura now has got company and does well to let it go out for the throw. Gavin Lee gets his mercurial midfielder the ball back quickly. Dan Bennett back to Nakamura. You get the feeling Boris Kapinovic just needs one more chance here, and this game could be all square. Madu. Yassir. Good header finds Armin. Now Armin looks for Boris over all of them, and it will be behind for a goal kick. Frustrating for Armin Bosniak, and now Torfik's involved in a little incident over on that far side, as I'm being told Albirex are about to make their final change. Referee Farhad Mohammed just wants a word with Torfik there. Taniguchi, who's on a yellow card and has looked like he might be tiring a little, he's about to be replaced by Fumiya Suzuki, who's another regular that we tend to see off the bench for Albirex this season. So Taniguchi departs, having picked up a yellow card for diving in this one, which I'm sure he won't be pleased about. He's replaced by Fumiya Suzuki, who is another new signing for Albirex. He's a former FC Tokyo who play in the top flight of Japanese football youth product. Made some appearances to the under-23s there. Also has impressed off the bench as Taniguchi comes on absolutely exhausted as he goes off to the bench. Time added on here is going to be interesting. It doesn't matter which league you're watching in the world, the way the referees sometimes tot up the time added on is a mystery to everyone. I'm sure Gavin Lee will be hoping it's 4 minutes plus here. Certainly the way things stand anyway. Yassir Hanapi looking for Torfik. Slightly lazy from Yassir there. It was easily blocked off by Chiku, and now Chiku's got space to run into. They've hardly troubled the Tampines defence in the last 15 minutes. That might change now. Over the top, Nagasawa's onto it. Flick through. Shazwan claims it well off the toes of Kondo. Alert keeping from the Stag stopper, who's not had much to do really since they conceded their second goal 3 minutes after the break. Oh, look at that from Armin. Lovely skills, gets the better of Nagasawa. Space for Yassir now. He's got Torfik to his right. Nakamura wants it through the middle. Goes to Torfik. Now Nakamura on the overlapping run. Mehmedovic and Boris wait in the middle. Gets it back to Torfik. Crosses it, and it's sliced. Could have gone anywhere from Chiku. As it is, it's behind for a corner. And the Baihaki-Bennett combo will be coming up for this, you could be sure of that. Just a reminder, the lightning warning system in effect at Geelong East. The game tied at 1 apiece when the lightning warning system came on, so whatever happens at the conclusion of this game, you'll have more live action to enjoy. Live on this Saturday night. Delivery, heads are up. Dan Bennett nearly got there. Mehmedovic can hit them. Mehmedovic deflected, and behind for another corner. And I don't think Boris, or was it Armin, was a million miles away from getting their head on the deflection either. Have a look at this. Baihaki nearly got there. Mehmedovic teed this up nicely. And Mehmedovic again will pick up the loose ball from the subsequent corner. Mehmedovic, they're lining up in the box in black shirts. And the header from Baihaki was the right idea, but just too high. Baihaki is a very graceful header of the ball, just couldn't keep that down as he looks for his first goal of the season. Dan Bennett, of course, picked up his first goal of the season very recently in that tour draw against Tanjung Pagar United. Here's Dan Bennett. Armin Bosniak. Plays in Mehmedovic. Mehmedovic over the top looking for Armin. That's a wonderful pass, Mehmedovic. Armin's in full stride. Yasser Henapi and Boris wait in the middle. Can Armin find either of them? Armin pulls it back, another slice clearance. And I'm not entirely sure why they didn't compete for that. What was Boris Kipinovic doing? He just let Koga go for it. If he had just made more of a nuisance of himself, he might have had a tap in. And I think that might be what Gavin Lee's referring to when he says he wants to see more big bad in Boris. What's he done there? If he just doesn't give up the ghost, he might have had half a chance. Dan Bennett. Armin. Well, it's probably even up for debate whether Armin was at fault. It was just a wonderful pass over the top from Yamashita and a great cross from Hashioka, but one thing's for sure, Armin's making up for it in space with his forward players. Shazwan manages to turn Suzuki inside out there. Mehmedovic. Time is starting to be the enemy of the Stags. Have they got one chance in them? Mehmedovic, Boris Kipinovic, Torfik have all had opportunities since they got back to within one. Boris drops deep. Yasser Henapi is almost playing in the centre forward role now. Boris Kipinovic. Armin Bosniak. Armin Bosniak's going to find Yasser here. Goes down wanting a penalty. Nothing doing, and the appeals are half-hearted. And this is where the Stags could be in bother. Suzuki. Just a question of how quickly they want to transition. And with the clock ticking round to the 89th minute, I don't think there's that much appetite to transition that quickly. They'll take it down the left with Suzuki. Suboi waits in the middle. One goal away from his third straight hat-trick. Kondo wants it as well. Some tired legs up there on both sides as Torfik sticks the foot in that will result in a throw. And all this will do is soak up another 60 seconds off the clock. I'm being told there's only going to be 3 minutes of time added on. I don't think Gavin Lee will be delighted about. You can see Farah and Gavin Lee urgently beckoning instructions out. Well, having been second best for chunks of this game, Tampines, if they don't get the equaliser, they'll probably be disappointed to come away from nothing here. Armin Bosniak, on balance, you have to say it's almost worthy of a draw for the Stags now. Oh, Armin's never going to thread it through to Boris like that. This will be picked up by Baihaki. Into Dan Bennett. Bennett switches it lovely over to that far side. Irwan to Madu. Well, if the 3 minutes to be added on is correct, they've got less than 4 minutes here, the Stags. They've got to create one more opportunity. Remember, the Sailors got that equaliser late through Diego Lopez. The last time Albirex drew a game 2-2. Only two teams have prevented the White Swans from winning this season. Balestier at Geelong East in a goalless draw, and the Sailors in that thrilling 2-2 at Jalan Besar. Well, referee Farhad Mohammed, I'm sure, will be alive to Koga soaking some seconds off the clock here. But we're in to essentially the final 10 seconds of the 90. And if the number 3 comes up, it's going to start ticking down ever so quickly for Tampines Rovers. And it will be 3 minutes. The board's up. Just had a camera shot for you there, but the board is up. It'll be 3 minutes to be added on, which I think is rather stingy if you're a Stags fan. Too many outrageous stoppages, I suppose. Torfik challenges for that. Kondo. Can't score if they haven't got the ball, so they've got to try and get the ball off. The Stags quickly if they can. Owan, Nakamura, Nagasawa's got there well. Suboy's through on goal and onside here, and it's on his right foot. Suboy! Well, Shaswan saved that. I'm not entirely convinced it wasn't going in the goal either. And Suboy now is down with cramp. Referee's going to have to be very careful how he manages this clock from now. Look at this from Suboy. Have a look at this. Say, this angle will tell us whether it was going in. Possibly was. At worst, it might have been a cross for someone to get on the end of it, but certainly worthwhile Shaswan getting something to of it. Well, time is running out. Albirex Niigata are maybe going to just survive one here, but once again, it was the feature of our pre-match build-up with Gelling International boss Norelli at the top of the show. Despite the possession the Tampines Rovers side have enjoyed in the final half an hour, they've only scored once. Albirex Niigata, if it stays like this, have only conceded 6 goals through 9 games. And on that kind of ratio, well, quite simply, if they carry that on from now to the end of the season, they'll be champions once again as they look for their 5th title in 6 seasons. Now, Yasir Hanapi's trying to drag off Suboy. You can't be doing that. Farhad Mohammed, I'm sure, will add the time on. Not entirely convinced by Suboy there. I think he's in a Korean drama, I think, the way he's rolling around on the floor there with a bit of cramp. Having said that, there's no advantage for Albirex to be playing the remaining seconds here with 10, but I wouldn't mind wagering that Suboy will jump back to his feet the second Tampines win possession back. Well, again, Tampines have got to attack this here. You can't just let them ticky-tacker it in their corner area. Flags up for offside here. Flags up for offside. So that little melee was needless. And to the surprise of absolutely no one, guess who's jumped up ready to rejoin the fray now that Tampines are in possession? That's right, Suboy. And in a form of poetic justice, the referee's not allowed him to rejoin yet. Dan Bennett by Haki. Seconds remain. Over the top. Good header, finds Kurimoto. His clearance isn't convincing, slightly more convincing from Chiku. Here's Madu. Torfik's onside if he can bring this down. Torfik on the edge of the area. Needs help here, Torfik. He's got Nakamura with him. Gets it back to Yasir. Yasir looking for Boris. Headed away, only as fine as Irwan. Irwan. Nice, intelligent ball to Mamedovich. Can Mamedovich turn and get the shot away? Mamedovich for the leveller, goes down. He's given the penalty. Farhad Mohammed's given the penalty. Albirex are furious. But he's given the spot kick. And Norali's prediction of 2-2 could come good with the last kick of the game. Well, it'll be a penalty decision that's debated. He twisted and turned Mamedovich, and you have to say, Kurimoto leaned into him. I think you can see both sides of the story. Here's a great angle. I mean, look at Kurimoto. There was a little push there, and you've seen them given. I think Mamedovich milked it for all it was worth, but Kurimoto's only got himself to blame. The clock is now 60 seconds. Over the 3 minutes that were allocated to be added on for stoppages. And now, the referee has picked up the match ball and gone over to speak to the 4th official. I don't know. I'm not sure whether it was something, or yellow card to Dan Bennett. I'm not entirely sure what that is for. Well, Dan Bennett started one a penalty. He's picked up a yellow card. Now, he's got to be careful, Dan Bennett. They can ill afford to have him suspended for a needless red. And Boris Kapinovic, who got his 8th goal of the season earlier tonight, has a chance now to get his 9th The battle between Boris and Suboi. The battle between the Stags and the Swans. Is it going to finish 2-2? Can the Stags keep their title hopes alive? It's Takehiro Koga, the undisputed best keeper in the division, against big bad Boris Kapinovic, who Gavin Lee wanted to get big and bad again. This will be the last kick of the game. Can the Stags steal a point? Yes, they can! Big, bad, Boris Kapinovic! It's Tampines Rovers 2, Albirex Niigata 2, and you have to say on balance, it's probably what the Stags deserve. They put in a dynamic final 30 minutes. They wrote their luck at times. The penalty decision, I'm sure, will be debated. But Boris Kapinovic smashed it at home, and the only surprise now is we seem to have time to kick off again. Surely there's not long on the clock now. Well, stay tuned for the post-show with Norali, who told you at the start of the broadcast what the score would be. He was spot on and entertaining, 2-2 draw, he said, and he's been correct on both counts, but there's still time here. We've now played double the amount that was initially added on. I remember in the 4-3 here 3 years ago, Albirex won it at the death. They can't do it again, can they? No, they can't. Well, what a stunning second half of football. The first half took time to get going, but when it did, this game exploded into life. A wonderful goal created by the Singaporean on debut for Albirex, Fikri, converted by Suboi for his 10th of the season. They double the lead after half-time when Hashioka skinned Armin Bosniak and Suboi tapped home for 2-0. Boris Kapinovic with a fine poacher's goal reduced the arrears by half just 4 minutes later. And then despite huffing and puffing and not creating much for the remaining 30 minutes, Tampines were given a lifeline when Kunimoto was adjudged to have pushed Mehmedovic in the area. Boris Kapinovic obliged to score his 9th of the season, and the honours are even. It's finished here. Tampines Rovers 2, Albirex Niigata 2. Well, back live pictures here, and Dan Bennett's been sent off after the final whistle. If we could just take that graphic down, you're missing the action because Dan Bennett, he was trying to be held back by his teammates, but he's been sent off after the final whistle. Absolutely needless for Singapore's most capped footballer after a passage of play that really Tampines should be celebrating. He was booked in the build-up to the penalty being taken, and now he's been sent off. And Noor Ali, who's back alongside me, Noor Ali, will stick with these pictures as they develop, but we'll go over the game in total. But you were watching it quickly. Tell me what happened there with Dan Bennett.
I think he was just a bit frustrated with certain decision was made, you know, and I think the first yellow card was just being, he was too consistent being on the referee, you know, and I think at the end of the game, I think it's a bit unnecessary with this, but
yeah, I mean,
he's a bit experienced and, you know, he should handle this well.
I mean, he's a lovely guy, Dan Bennett, but as you say, experience is the key.
Yeah.
You know, 43 years of age, you know that you can't talk back to the referees. When you're not on a yellow card, you might feel like taking the chance, but not when your team have just basically won a point they didn't know they were going to get. You should be celebrating.
Especially in the second half, I think Tampines did very well, you know, to get back into the game. Yeah.
Okay, so, well, what drama here. Goodness knows my voice. How it's going to get through your game tomorrow, I don't know. Let's look back at the action of this incredible game with Gaelic international manager Noor Ali alongside me. Don't forget, there's still some football to be played at Jurong East. This was the opening goal of the game. It seems like a long time ago now. Fikri on the half-hour mark, the Singaporean on debut. Wonderful cross. Suboi with a bullet header on the 6-yard.
I think, again, I say, it was a fantastic cross, you know, that Fikri put in, and well taken goal by Suboi, you know.
Now, as we look at this one again, straight after half-time, Armin came on, and when I saw the formation, as we just get one more look at this goal, Armin came in and he was playing left-back. Now, he's obviously great coming forward. How good would he be at the back? It was a wonderful ball by Yamashita, but Hashioka skins Armin there, and the cross, I mean, it's just an absolute thing of beauty, isn't it? You can't defend against that one.
I mean, that's what Hashioka going to do the whole season. You know, and we have seen this a lot with him getting into that area, you know, and this is just one of the moments in the game. You know, and he took advantage of Armin's defensive position and managed to send a good ball for Sibo to tap in.
And at this point, you think, well, Gavin's played his ace card, he's put Armin on, they're 2-0 down, and the defence was looking a bit shaky. You thought at this point Albirex might go away with it, but the turning point of the game was clearly just minutes later when Boris scored a goal out of nothing. How good is this?
I mean, this is Boris, man. Strength, power into the box. This is what he's good at. Putting up play for Tampines, and there was a well-taken goal. There's a striker goal, you know, number 9 goal. So that was well taken, you know, and that brought Tampines back into the game.
So they're back in the game at that point, but still it looked for at least a short while after this that Albirex were the team more likely to get what would be their 3rd goal to go on and win this game quite comfortably. It nearly happened. Now, this was interesting because that ghosting run, I think it was Taniguchi on the far side, what the decision's been given there for, which is a block on Dan Bennett, didn't really have an impact on the goal. It was the correct decision, but they'll be kicking themselves Albirex because the shenanigans there didn't really affect the goal.
I mean, of course, definitely there was nothing to do with the goal, but I mean, you don't see the referee sees the best decision down there on what happened, you know. But it was a good, well-taken free kick and a goal.
Now, what about this? Kunimoto on Milivojevic. It looks soft, but then again, what's Kunimoto doing given the referee the option of giving the penalty there? He's running away from the goal.
But I think, I mean, I agree he was running away from the goal, but I think Hashioka was the one who actually tripped Milivojevic, you know.
No, it's the push. It's for the push he's given it. Has he not given it for the push from Kunimoto? Maybe the combination of both has made the referee's mind up. And Boris Kubinovic, Koga gets the right way. And Koga, of course, has already saved a penalty in a big game. He saved a penalty from Stipe in that 2-2 draw, but he couldn't stop Boris. So, I mean, we'll have to have you back more often. You told us what the score would be. You said it would be an entertaining 2-2 game, and of course you were watching it in the stands. And it was entertaining that second half.
It was entertaining, especially in the second half. You know, Tampines came back and gave Albirex a hard time, especially in the last 20 minutes. It's interesting to see Daniel Bennett on the left back with Bahaki and Madhu in the middle when they were switched back to the 4. And they was giving a lot of problems, you know.
And credit where it's due to Gavin as well, because tactically he kept them in it right until the last, and they got their just rewards a couple of times in that game, both in the first half and the second half. You thought this might run away from them here.
I mean, that's why he said during the interview, you know, before the game, you know, the tactics and the strategy, putting Armin off the bench, you know, coming on, and I think it pays off today. And I think 1 point is quite deserved.
Okay, so that is the tale of what's happened here at our Tampines hub tonight. Now, of course, there's a lightning warning system in effect over at Jurong East. When the lightning warning system went off, there was 30 minutes to play. It was tied at 1 each. So whatever happens here, do stay with us because Farah's going to get the post-match reactions from the managers in a minute. But then you should still have live football to watch on Jurong East. Don't forget all the SPL games, AIA Singapore Premier League social media channels, One Play Sports, and of course, if you like it old school, on Singtel and StarHub as well. That game was 1-1. While we wait for Farah to stand by with the managers, a quick word on this game coming up for you tomorrow. It's the game I'm looking forward to being at Jalan Besar. Well, remind me what happened the last time you played the Sailors.
Oh, I need to remind you.
Of course, for people that weren't with us then, you lost 8-0, but it wasn't an 8-0 game, was it?
I mean, I'm just going to put that over, you know. I think it's going to be a totally new game tomorrow. I think it's going to be a different team that we put up against LCS on the day one when we lost heavily to them. But we got to stay positive, you know. We don't have a good start to the season at this point of time, I think. But I think we had a good game against Tampines and got a good results against White Swans. I think now is moving forward to LCS tomorrow.
Okay, really looking forward to that one. More to come from Noor Ali. Let's go pitch side first, though. Farah Naya has managed to catch up with the Albirex Niigata coach, who's bound to be a little bit disappointed, the manner with which they threw away 2 points there. Keiji Shigetomi.
Thank you, Patrick. KG, you're so close to all 3 points today, but it's a draw in the end. What did you make of your side's performance today?
Of course, I'm not satisfied with the result and referee's judge. So we couldn't get the 3 points.
But just tell us, how tough was it out there today?
Of course, it was very tough match. But we have to change our minds and prepare for the next match.
KG, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, very calm and collected, KG Shigetome there. I mean, but he's going to be furious because they've
course,
thrown
man,
away
of
the
course.
2 points.
You are definitely, as a coach, when you are leading 2-1 up and you are sitting at the top of the table, that 2-1 result at the 90th minute would have taken the team 3 points.
But such a strange game for the large parts of the first half. Early in the second half, you thought, well, this could be like 3-4, 5-0. But the last half hour, I'm telling you, if Tampines had maybe got that goal in the 75th, 80th minute, you wouldn't have ruled out them going on and winning the game. They just seemed to. Whether Albirex sat back too much, but they were almost asking for trouble, Albirex.
I think that's the main thing about Gavin's team. They are very experienced, like I said earlier on, the very experienced team. They hold up the ball well, they know how to position themselves well, and this plays a part into the game and how they bring Boris into the game every single time in the second half. It shows, tactically, strategically, I think Gavin got it on spot in the second half.
Exactly, and the timing of the substitutions as well. I think you have to be a bit critical. But the gamble with Armin and being caught out by Hashioka obviously didn't pay off, but he made up for it in spades with his impact. And in the end of that game, when they had Armin down the left and Torfik down the right, for the first time, the Albirex defence looks stretched because they've got options to pick up left and right.
Yep. I know that's when they give it a problem. That's why when they switch back to the back four, that's when they started moving forward and giving Albirex a lot of hard times.
Now let's go back live pitch side. Now Gavin Lee, it doesn't matter whether they've won 6-0 or lost, he's always miserable post match. So I want to know, Farah, what kind of mood is Gavin Lee in? He must be pleased with that last gasp penalty. Gav's with Farah.
Thanks, Pat. Gavin, what an end to the game that was. Just talk us through how you're feeling right now.
Yeah, it's mixed feelings really, because we know we're always strong at the end, and that was evident today. But we kind of we dug a deep hole for ourselves to climb up front. But with these boys, with their character, we know it's not over until the final whistle. So,
like you said, it's mixed feelings. It's still a point in the end for you. But would you say you're happy with the point, or just slightly disappointed you didn't come away with all 3 points here?
No, every game when we don't take away the 3 points, we are naturally very disappointed. But we are a glass half full kind of club, and we have to find what was good and just improve what was lacking today.
Gavin, thank you.
Lovely words from Gavin Lee. Unfortunately, can't bring you a table, but just to verbalise it for you, Albirex stayed top, of course. They've played 9, 21 points. 3 points still ahead of Tampines Rovers, who were second, having played 10. Remember, they played a game more than everybody else with 18 points. The Sailors can go to within 1 point of Albirex Niigata if, and it's a big if, they beat this man's teams tomorrow. Here's a look forward to the games that are coming your way live tomorrow. Hougang United against Balestier. That should be a cracker. Clementia up against Marko Kravic at the Hougang Stadium. And then I'll be heading to Jalan-Besar. Make sure you join us live. Noor Ali's Gailing International with their Brazilian superstar Moresh against the big spending Lion City Sailors, who are now after Vidmar. It's AV, Sailors AV after Vidmar. Another bit of news for you, just to tell you the game at Jurong East has been postponed, unfortunately. That lightning warning system not rectified. It was 1-1 at the time, but they'll have to replay that game. And all that's left for me to do is to wish everyone to stay safe, stay well, keep the masks on, keep safe distancing. And even though you can't go to the SPL games, you can catch them all live on Singtel, StarHub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page, and One Play Sports. Thanks and good luck tomorrow,
so
Noor Ali.
much. Thank you.
All the best. Great to have the company of Noor Ali, and great to have the company of you as well. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night for more great AIA Singapore Premier League action.